In your fat beers. We've started.
Oh, there it is. Cross member of a chair creaking a little bit there. I had a little too much bass pedal.
All these chairs are on their last life. Absolutely the last life.
Yeah. Well, they're living their best life. That's for sure.
They are. They've had a good run in here. Welcome. Hi.
Hi, everybody. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3.
Camera 2. We've got 4 options. Let's just run through it real quick. Here's 1.
1. Hey! Look at this.
Fred Stivers coming up later. Alright, so.
Alright. Yeah, there's somebody walking by the window.
Yeah.
I'm a little ADD, a little like squirrel. Yeah,
Well, so let me get to our Spotify action.
I'm like unmedicated ADD though. I'm just out here raw dogging life.
Yeah.
No help.
I think that's the way you should do it.
Yeah, just let her rip. Just
I have
let
found
her
out too
rip.
if the volume of these songs is too high.
Wait,
I gotta stop that.
That actually brings up a good point. What is you notice these people posting stories of them raw dogging flights?
Yes.
Like transatlantic flights?
Oh, you mean like no?
They're just like,
I've got major hot sports opinions about this.
I don't understand what the point of it is. Why would you torture yourself?
Dumbest thing.
Dumbest ever.
I can't see I could see like no technology, right? Like if you didn't want to do that, that's
Like
one
read
thing.
a book.
But bring a book, like a hard copy book, like
Hell, I won't even take a coloring book.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, not to sit there and stare straight ahead.
You're
That seems
supposed to.
Or like play solitaire. With some
Can
cards.
you hear the song?
barely.
I think that's good though, right?
Yeah, I mean, to all the people that hate that we play music in general, yeah.
So I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to have nothing but the map on. You can have the map.
Oh, you can have the map? I said I didn't know that.
So what's the point of not enjoying your flight and bragging about it? What is that? What is the deal with these?
Like, dude, just raw dog.
Well, maybe, I mean, okay, so there's if you're just doing it to prove you're tough, it's stupid.
That's what it
If
is.
you wanted to do it to, like, for some other reason, like if you wanted to take that time to be like, look, I'm just gonna introspectively think about things, meditate, if you will, like I could see somebody turning it to that angle.
Yeah,
which is hard to
that's
do in a
not
plane.
funny on social media for these people. It's like, oh, I raw dogged because I wanted to meditate. They do it.
Yeah.
Just want to raw dog.
But that just seems weird to me. I like I said, I could see no technology, but a hard book, a magazine, a fine magazine such as Field and Stream, or
I mean, wouldn't you just fall asleep? I would just fall asleep.
Yeah. How about just call it falling asleep? Exactly.
yeah.
Slept 12 hours
That'd
all
be
the
great.
way to Johannesburg.
I was the longest flight I ever went on was transatlantic, and on the way there, I was too amped up. There was no sleeping, and we left Atlanta at like 5 p.m. Landed in Paris at like 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
but I thought I was like, well, I'll just sleep, and then I didn't. I just I raw dogged it all the way across there because I had a book. I had a book to read. But yeah, now the way home, we launched or took off out of Paris to come home, and I slept the whole damn flight. Like I didn't.
yeah.
I was so tired. It was more,
I did England, and I think that was like 6 hours. But there's no way I could have raw dogged.
Paris was like
wait, listen.
So we're using a little bit different mic setup.
Yeah.
I wanted to try something different, and I hope it works. And like Mike said, we might next time suspend it from the ceiling.
There's a lot of
just
ambient noise with the.
yes,
If
and like
we
if
don't
that
be
AC
careful.
turns on, you're gonna. But hey, that's part of the deal, though.
It's a sensitive mic. Yeah.
I think it's kind of more fun not having a mic in your face and dealing with cords. At the end of the day, the less things I have to deal with because now we have a whole newsroom production set up.
I do miss the bass.
The simple.
Yeah, I miss the bass a little bit. You know,
What's the base?
getting into the
Being able to get up in that thing.
Gotcha. You want to get it? Well, you can get up in this thing if you want to.
Oh, that sounds
Doug.
good.
Wow, that sounds a lot better. What if we all just been breathing in each other's
The game a little bit, then
faces?
it's all start. I promise it sounded good though. I tested it all day.
Yeah,
It's gonna be good. I
Let's
feel
go.
good about it.
Yeah.
Did the AC stop? I'm a little sweaty. Maybe I'm just nervous.
I like the way it creates.
I've never seen you
ambiance.
not sweaty, to be honest.
Having a conversation, sitting around the
Yeah.
table.
We're just bull honking.
It kind of brings back the whole thing, but until I start doing this, watch.
Look at that.
The fun thing is, though,
Look at
like,
everything.
I think one thing that's been missing from this podcast for a lot of years is the fact that, like, when I listen back to the shows, sometimes they're funnier to me because I know what was happening, like the cross, like the looks across the table, like the little subtle. Because sometimes weird stuff's happening that you can't hear on the microphone or appreciate. So I like the fact that we're gonna have cameras now, so that like some of that gets caught. Because there's a whole lot of like sometimes we've been interviewing people or we've been doing things and they say some shit.
It's like,
Some of us were like.
I just can't believe. I can't
There's a
believe
lot of facial expressions, which may get us in trouble with a lot of our guests who think we're just very polite. And
all the
in reality-
millions of listeners we have are now going to be sitting down in the evening with a big bowl of popcorn in front of the TV, just watching that.
Honestly, I can't imagine why anybody would want to watch this. But
one of those would be. I'm going to get my popcorn ready.
I say that, but like I spend an inordinate amount of time when I do get to watch TV, which is very rare. But when I do sit down to watch TV, I watch YouTube. And I watch people like work on boats. Like I literally have whole channels that I follow that are just people restoring boats. So like if I could sit and watch somebody do literal fiberglass work and be like, oh yeah, he's laying that in there. Not, somebody's gonna watch this. I don't know who it's gonna be.
You remember that show, This Old House?
Oh yeah.
Who was it? Bob Lavia or something? Or?
They even have a new version of it with his son.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I still watch
I can't watch that show though.
It's amazing.
They spent a whole episode installing a banner post, and I'm like, that house is never getting done.
Today, we're going to do a doorknob.
Yeah, just one doorknob.
So get your popcorn.
Day 14,367 of working on this house.
Yeah, and I mean it's wild. Like it just gets too much, man. You gotta, at some point you gotta get some shit done.
This old as fuck house, but it's been really kind of reworked.
Yeah. By the time it gets done with it, they're like, okay, well, if you remember, the first thing we did was replace that roof. Well, it's been 22 years since we did that. We're gonna have to go back up there and replace the roof again.
I think you're missing an opportunity. This old boat.
Mm,
Nobody's done it.
No, they
Nobody's
have
done it.
not. So I will say, not as much in like the fishing boat world.
Yeah.
But there are like I follow like 4 or 5 channels, sailors. Like I'm not a blowboater. I don't know shit about sailing. I'm not a sailor. But the people like these young, usually couples were young guys that are like in their 20s, 30s, sell everything they own. They buy an old beat up ass sailboat and then they like gut it, rebuild it, and then they just start sailing around the world. And there's a lot of channels that I follow and watch that are just that. And it's these guys, and I don't really give a shit about the sailing part. Once they fix the boats and go sailing, I stop watching.
Did you call it a blow boat?
Oh, yeah, the blow boats.
Blow boat. That sounds like a porn.
Why is it called a blow boat?
Blow
Because
boat.
the wind blows them, Paul. They blow.
Oh, a sailboat?
Yeah. A blow boat.
Hey, why don't you gals hop on my blue boat?
There's a guy in our neighborhood. His name is
I don't
Brian.
think they'd get on if you said that.
We, Sarah and I were walking by one day. He's just out here tinkering in his garage. And of course, anytime someone's tinkering in the garage and I'm walking by, I'm going to be
I'm
spotted.
curious, yeah.
Have we got a buzz going?
Huh?
That's the AC, I think.
Yeah, that's that AC. Just welcome AC.
It's Samsung.
So I noticed he was building a boat. He builds sailboats, but he builds those kind of dinghy size. They have lap sizes to them.
Yeah.
They're kind of dinghy size. But his name is Brian. He's got 3 of his boats out in his front yard. They're really cool.
Probably proud as hell.
Oh, Sarah did the whole okay, because he started talking to me. And 5 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I could easily be here for an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking at Sarah, and it's clear that we're 55 minutes away from an hour, and we're not going to wait an hour.
You should have been like, dude, stop showing my wife your blow boat.
I do regret though. Like after seeing all those videos of the channels do it, like I do kind of regret not taking that time to record some of that stuff. Like I mean, or even just document it better. Because I said I'm going to put it on Instagram, when I do things, and I just didn't. I would just jump in and start working. Because I got to say, like Paul did all the work here. I have nothing to do with this, but there's so much. Anything you do and whether you're working on something or you're doing a podcast, it's twice as long if you're going to film it, because everything has to be set up. And if you're doing boat work, you got to hey, I'm going to do this thing, but I got to set the camera up, and then halfway through, well, let me move the camera for a different angle, and then let me get the lighting in here right. So it extends it. And honestly, I was working on mine while the baby was taking naps and shit. I'm like, I got an hour if I'm lucky. Let me just get in there and get as much done as I can. So I was terrible about even taking pictures, let alone videoing. But
then you have to go back and edit it, and it's a whole we take YouTube for granted. How many times a week do y'all look up something on YouTube?
Oh yeah,
always learn something.
Always, yeah.
It's nothing is there's very few things in this world that are not doable. Housework, whatever. I mean, there's some things I don't want to do because I'm like, you see it on YouTube and you're like, that's more work than I really want to put
Casting a fly rod.
But I mean, you can literally go, you know how much money I've saved myself just going to YouTube and being like, oh, that's not that big of a deal.
How to tie a clinch knot.
I had to change my wife's old car. I changed her cruise control button, but it was behind the steering. It was in the steering column and it was holding. And I was like, oh God. YouTube 10 minutes there's 3 bolts. I pulled the airbag out, literally showed you how to
Hold on, dude, that's high level shit.
It would have taken
it's one YouTube away.
One YouTube video, and it literally took me a half an hour watching the YouTube, and then I put it back together. I was like, that would have been a lot more expensive with the Toyota.
You reinstalled the F21 gigawatt.
Yeah, thing.
Flux capacitor.
But little shit like that. It's you could have went to that would cost you $500 in a mechanic because it would have charged you 10 hours in labor and whatever. It costs nothing.
I'd be scared messing around with that airbag.
Oh, I did.
Joey is driving down the road.
I definitely when I took you had to take the thing out of there.
We got to talk.
It was like a little box, you take the thing out of there, and I definitely never got my face in front of it. So I was moving, and I was like,
when you open a champagne bottle, you're
yeah, exactly.
So what was wrong with the cruise control? How did you know you needed to fix it?
The button. So I don't know. Most Toyotas are all the same. The ones I've driven are these older models. You just have this.
That's what they want you to do.
You have this little stick that comes out of the column. Yeah. And it has a little spring-loaded button. Click in, like a ballpoint pen. In is on, and you click it again, it comes out. Well, I was driving. She blames it on me like I did something. But I was driving, and I went to put the cruise on. I click, and it just shot the clicky button just shot across the car, and that was it. So then you couldn't engage or disengage anymore. So that was what was wrong with it. But I bought, I went on eBay and found the part, part number, whatever. Yeah. And you get the whole thing. And it was really just a plug in, plug out part. But you had to get to it.
It really was easy.
It was, but it was behind the airbag. On that steering column, you had to remove all that. That was the scary part. But YouTube, baby.
YouTube, baby.
Well, I mean,
I've learned a lot.
YouTube to change a light bulb, not to,
knowing you
switch out the suspension on my truck.
Well, when I was doing the boat project, I would watch 6 guys do something on YouTube,
Control Alt Delete.
I'd watch how 6 guys wired something or did something, and then I would take the conglomerate of those 6 and be like, I like the way the guy did that, but I didn't like how he did this, and I like that guy did this better, and then I would okay, here's how I'm going to do it, and I would just combine. Not that I didn't know how to do the thing, but I'm like, somebody out there probably knows how to do this better than I do. Yeah, and then it made everything.
There's always someone out there that knows how to do it better.
There's always a guy,
and if that guy is taking,
I got a cruise control guy.
Yeah.
There's always a guy. Let me text you his number. Actually, speaking of it, I'm going to text Fred. We got Fred Stivers, artist.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm pumped to talk to him. Yeah. I'm assuming y'all are familiar with his art.
Absolutely, man.
I mean, he's been pretty prevalent the last 4 or 5 years, I guess I'd say. Mm-hmm. Architect is kind of his background. He'll tell us more about it. But he's done the last 2 album covers for Zach Bryan.
Nice.
Artwork for him. So I'm curious to see kind of how, if that's moved the needle at all for his artwork as far as just people reaching out to him and wanting art. And so I'm going to text him, tell him that we're 10 minutes out, probably.
Yeah, sure.
Probably bullshit another 10 minutes, take a break, so 15 minutes out. Let's just let him know. So that's what I'm going to do right now. The sound of whiskey.
Yeah, it sounds like a storm coming in.
The sound of the whiskey. Oh, so you're just going to go. You're Raw dogging it.
He's just raw dog.
What I'm doing is making sure it's not poison.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody's got to be the tester.
I don't want you guys to get hurt.
I appreciate that, Doug. So I would imagine I got a bunch of topics. Let's see. Let's do some more.
Well, we're
thoughts
just
here.
in the bullshit section.
So
Save your
that's
topics for
my
later.
thoughts. No, this is my topics.
Yeah, okay.
So Doug asked me what this little earring is all about.
Y'all don't want to know where
This
he's
little
pierced.
turquoise. What is
So
rocks?
this brings up a question that I found this yesterday,
Okay.
and it's a topic that I don't know if y'all have ever been involved in this situation. But I opened up the top of my backpack where all my pens and pencils are, and that was in there.
And it's not Sarah's?
I don't know.
And he's not going to ask.
Well, this is one way to do it.
Have y'all ever been in this situation?
What, found like random women stuff in your thing?
Because I know I have no reason for that earring to be in my backpack.
Yeah.
So instead of talking to Sarah about it, you said, I'm just going to go to Spotify and broach the subject.
So this is probably more common than maybe, I mean, it probably is Sarah's.
I mean,
But what
it
if
looks
she
like
looks-
something she would wear.
What if she looks at it and she goes, no, that's not mine? What?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we know you ain't two-timing out there,
But
Paul.
I
But I
set
mean,
my
like,
I set my backpack
Do we?
in a lot of places where social events gather.
yeah.
Okay.
So y'all ever been in this predicament?
Nope.
No, but I will say this: you have a daughter who's a little older than mine, but I have a 2-year-old
Yeah,
around,
could
and
this
I
be
find
backwards?
random shit
So that's
everywhere,
another
like
thing.
stuffed in pockets that,
Yeah.
like, trust me, yeah. So yes and no, not particularly this exact
You know
scenario.
what? This
but
might not even be an earring.
Well, it has a weird little loop.
Yeah,
thing
that's
going
not
on.
an earring.
Then what do you think it is?
Rosary?
Rosary.
could have came off.
It's definitely an earring of some sort.
I don't think so.
Or-
Look, there's no way that's going in someone's ear and staying.
Well, it probably attaches
I mean, unless it's
to, like,
like a-
this broke.
yeah.
This probably broke.
Probably had
And
an
then
actual.
it had a thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm now that my curiosity is getting the better of me, I'm going to have to ask Sarah about it.
It looks Sarah-ish. Like
Yeah.
that looks like something she would wear.
I mean, it could be a keychain.
The worst part of it is she's probably going to tell Paul, you bought this for me like 5 years ago.
Oh god.
Like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, of course I did.
It did. It looked a lot like some jewelry I bought for my wife at I don't know some fly show somewhere, and
Blue
it was
stone.
these ladies were doing. They were putting caddises in like in fish tanks, but then instead the stones and the gravel that they would give them would be like turquoise and like pretty
Nice.
decorative
I've
colored
seen
stones,
these girls,
and then
yeah.
the caddis would make their casings
Yeah.
out of these, not gems, but out of these
Yeah.
stones. And then once they were done with them, the girls would harvest those casings and then fill them with like epoxy so they would stay solid.
That's cool.
And then they'd make jewelry out of them. And so my wife has like a necklace and some earrings that are
Did
caddis.
You bought it for her?
Yeah, they're
That's
like
cool.
caddis. Caddis. I don't know what houses.
Larvae.
Well, the larva
Caddis
shells.
shacks.
Caddis shacks.
Cattywampus?
They're caddis shacks made out of rocks.
Popeyes.
I mean,
That kind of looks like that. Like that's what it reminds me of. Like,
it could be a Christmas tree decoration.
Maybe it should be now.
It should be. I think we should have a Christmas tree this year.
Take it home.
Well, now that we
Sarah,
got cameras.
Look at this new Christmas tree decoration I found.
Oh, you know what? I don't know what it is.
So I pulled that out of my backpack yesterday. And I go, huh?
well, this could be a problem.
What do I do? But it probably is like Piper.
I haven't.
yeah, I mean, dude, I find stuff that has no business all over the place. Like, and she's just so proud of herself when she shoves stuff into random places.
Yeah, I don't think it's an earring though.
But Doug, it's an earring.
Looks
Has
like
to
an
be.
It
earring.
could be like a multi-layered necklace. With a bunch of these things going on.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Mhm.
I mean, you're probably wrong, but you could be right. Let's put it that
Have
way.
you been to Peru lately?
So later on, though, I do want to. We're gonna talk to Fred after we take a break here.
Sure. Yeah.
And I want to talk about All the Sacred films. Y'all watch that yet? The Yeti film.
I have me and the Glades guys have got a plan to like do a little screening over
Okay.
it. Like, wait,
Now,
yeah,
is some of that from Tarpon?
Well, then, yeah.
it's about the making of the movie
Tarp.
Tarp.
Well, then we'll package that for next time because I'm actually going to see if Scott will.
And that guy was from
Maybe.
France, right?
Guy Levaldine.
Yeah.
Maybe his buddy was. His buddy was a French filmmaker that helped him make the movie.
Man, I meant to tell y'all in honor of the Olympics, I was gonna paint myself blue and get naked for y'all. But never really had a chance. Lay out on this table.
I thought you were about to say I got to go home and watch gymnastics.
Hey.
So,
hey.
what?
Come
No,
on.
I know you're a gymnast. You are. You're an ex-gymnast.
It's not true. It's not true at all.
Doug, look in the camera and just tell everyone about your pommel horse days.
Pommel horse.
Paul has a problem. We're going to talk about it later. He's making up really wild stories. So, anyway.
College recruit.
No.
Missouri, right?
No. I think I probably could have gotten a year, maybe, at Iowa or Penn State.
Iowa, okay. I knew it was a black and gold school.
Iowa seems like a really
Nowhere
like
near
a gymnast
some of these
school. Like
Yeah.
I feel like Iowa
You know what is wild, though?
because they do wrestling real big and wrestling gymnasts.
So
yeah,
I'm
pretty close.
46.
Both
now.
wearing singlets,
When
onesies.
you watch what they do now,
Mhm.
I mean, people didn't even think about doing this.
Really? It's
Oh
changed
my-
that much?
It's changed that much. It's
based on strength, skill, everything?
everything.
Or balls?
and
Like,
balls.
Yeah. Balls help.
Yeah.
Well, I was before I came out here today. There was actually gymnastics on. I had the TV on in the background. I was
It's incredible.
folding laundry, doing
Yeah.
something. Kids running around tearing the house apart. You know the usual.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the Simone Biles on there, and they were talking about one of her scores from like the pommel horse, not the pommel horse, but the
She didn't do
the
palm
vault, the vault, yeah. And
She jumps off.
and her score,
She jumped
yeah,
off.
her score was like astronomically higher than
Mhm.
everybody else in the field. And they're like, well, the reason is she's doing things that nobody's ever even heard of.
thought was
And-
possible.
And it's like
And didn't think that they,
27,
and nobody can do it but her, and she's doing weird shit.
Is she still doing that stuff at her age because she's still the same height that she was when she was 15?
I think probably she keeps herself in amazing shape. I mean,
Okay.
she works that hard.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. There is such a difference in women's gymnastics and men's gymnastics. But
Right.
what I do know is that she is on another planet when
Okay.
you compare her to other people.
I've-
She's doing things that people never thought were possible.
I went to a nursing conference one time, and this is a big thing, and they had a guest speaker, and the guest speaker was Simone Biles, and this was like,
Really?
I'm
You
not
saw
joking.
you saw
This
her
was in
golf?
Houston.
I just had a funny, we're talking about gymnastics and nursing conferences. It's amazing.
Have you ever seen the picture of her?
Well, I mean, it's
You're like,
linked. I mean,
I know.
Simone, she was there. She was. That's what I was getting at. I didn't realize how tiny of a
That
person.
realization that Barely Live just hit like a brick wall. It's incredible.
But yeah, I was in
Fly
Houston.
fishing, guys. Fly fishing. It's all about fly fishing.
Yeah, I was in
Don't
Houston
forget.
doing the nursing thing. I went and
Camera
had,
two's off. Camera
Camera two.
two's off.
Camera
What
two.
happened?
I went and
We're
did
down. We're
I
down.
went and did lunch with a bunch of fly fishing guys at a taco stand. If that makes it cooler, but
That's really cool.
I definitely was in the same room as Simone Biles once in my life, which was
Really?
yeah, and she's tiny. Like I said, that was what
Yeah.
shocked me was like how small of a person. Like
Mhm.
this perfectly normal sized human was like introducing her, and they literally and Simone came out and they had to like shrink everything.
They had to be like,
they had to pull the microphone like all the way down, and like
Wow.
she kind of made a joke about it, but she was a very small person. But I mean, obviously, an incredible athlete. But
Did she
like,
totally flip out?
I flip out about what?
Oh,
Hey, there it is. I was like, why would she flip out?
She didn't know what to do. Just saw the microphone.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
So do you watch the gymnastics?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's amazing to watch. I mean,
But you're seeing it from a different angle than we would see.
I don't know. I like watching.
I
Some
mean, you kind of know what they're doing.
oh, absolutely. I know what they're doing.
I like-
And that's why I'm so amazed by it because they're doing things that we used to joke about.
Yeah.
And we used to joke about these things. Like,
Yeah.
What if I did this, man?
Yeah, they're like everybody just like
Crazy.
fall out laughing. Well, now I mean, it's like every guy on the Chinese team can do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well, those
amazing.
little dudes are.
Yeah, they're
Crazy.
incredible.
You ever think about going to Cirque du Soleil? Was that ever impossible?
I think you're overestimating my skill and
I'm
ability.
just imagining. Sarah, we're gonna go watch Doug. He's doing the featured act.
It looked
And
more
just
like
Doug just.
it looked more like Vince Vaughn in Old School, where he's on the ring with a cigarette. He's like, still holding, like spits a cigarette out.
Let me see
Little
Doug.
flavors.
Yeah. That was Will Ferrell.
Let me just one day see Doug fly through there.
Oh,
Crappy.
oh my
hey,
God.
my mom has videos.
We can.
I should not.
Infiltrate
I
those
should
three.
not have.
We now have
mentioned
YouTube. We
that.
now have
Should not have
YouTube
mentioned
video.
that.
I've got a feeling I can get your mom's phone. There.
Yeah,
I don't need you for it either.
we're gonna bypass that.
I know where she lives. At least I know the town.
Well, somebody out there is fishing right now because the water's high. I saw somebody fishing your spot in the Ashley when I was on my way over here. Or not fishing it, but cruising by it, eyeballing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they say that's the problem when you put pictures up with well-established roadways in the background. Somebody's gonna come snooping.
Well, what's funny is like 3 days after that, I saw which is someone that I know that fishes there anyway. So
Yeah.
it's not like.
But you know what's funny is like I've lived in that area and crossed that a million times. I honestly haven't seen that many people poling around
Me
on
neither.
that piece of grass until recently.
Did you know this person?
And I saw you out there one day.
Yeah.
It looked like a little spear. It was a tiller skiff. It could have been a little spear. It could have been a little Hell's Bay. It was
Sounds like
16
Jeremy
feet,
Clark to me.
17
no,
feet
it's
maybe.
Luke from
Oh, it's Luke.
Girls, I think.
Nice.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it was a small
Young Luke.
tiller. Yeah, it could be it was a skimmer skiff or something like
Yeah, 'cause
that.
I've seen him fishing there before anyway.
Yeah, I never have. But either way, he was just cruising the
That
shoreline,
spot-
eyeballing it.
That's that Doug, that spot that when the sun was down, you kept following that fish. Twice we've done that.
Yeah.
I
If you
fished.
go to that spot 30 minutes when it's just it's automatic. There's
Right.
always a fish in that spot.
I fished yesterday. This last minute, like my buddy Luke had to have surgery today on his hand. He's doing great, but a couple months back, fell off a ladder, shattered his wrist, had to have hardware put in it. Took a long time to rehab that. I mean, hit his head, had a whole lot of things
Okay,
going
so
on.
this is second phase.
Hands
well,
are neuro
Then the
right?
there's hand surgeons that are specifically hand guys. Like there's
Okay.
people that do nothing but work on hands because it's a very complex piece of machinery.
Sure.
But anyway, so he had a piece
I've
of
seen Terminator.
he had a
I'm
piece of
telling Fred
hardware.
5 minutes out.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
stick to it too.
Okay.
So he had a piece of hardware in his forearm, and the tendon that controls the big movements of your thumb was rubbing on it and tore through the tendon on the hardware that they put in for his wrist. And then he couldn't use his thumb.
Gets
So
complicated.
now they got to remove the tendon out of his ring finger, put it into his thumb so he can use his thumb. Anyway,
All this hand stuff.
yeah, yesterday was his last day of before that. So we went out and hit the Wando, hit some spots. I was solo in my boat, him and Germs fishing theirs. And I never fished that boat solo. It actually didn't pull that much different.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really fine.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to get my system out. I saw probably 10 fish, got shots at about 4. Two of them
actually got enough water.
Oh yeah, 2 of them were a little boat shy, didn't get close, and I got one. It was a nice fish, and he was cruising. I put it around on him. He turned on it, charged up to it, and he had seen that fly before, or at least seen copper before. As soon as he got up on him, he went, "Oh fuck no!" And I was like, at least he played. And then the second one, I was just too accurate. I mean, what are you gonna do? I hit that fish.
I used to keep
I put it right in his fucking grill, and he
bucket?
did not like it.
put a bucket up there on the pulling platform with you.
Yeah.
Just took the rod in there.
Face
I
this out so we can take a
yeah.
break.
Yeah, okay, we'll come back.
Daddy's got a pee face.
So we just started. We just started talking about fishing. And now we got to.
People times.
What?
I said we just started talking about fishing.
What's
Time out.
I,
Fishing?
I thought that's what we were here
I thought
for.
we were talking about
I lost it.
I'm
This-
afraid it's a good song.
Staring at 4 in the morning, still waiting
I love Cher.
Sounds like Culture
for
Wall.
the
Don't do
dog
Doug
strike
bullshit.
I stole Doug's line.
He's not
Cher does have that man.
It does, yeah. That could be Cher. You can't tell me otherwise.
What do you have now?
Take her down.
Slow down.
Don't wave your hands.
Knees now, still praying. What will you have of me now? Slow down, slow down. The fire's burning, girl. Slow down. Slow down. We'll make it back, my friend. Slow down. When you come my way, don't leave me out to dry, 'cause it's so hard when we're moving at the speed of light. We're moving at the speed of light. Moving at the speed of light. Unafraid. Waiting slow down. The fire's burning, girl. Slow down.
Let's call the old boy. How weird is that? It's got a text from Paul Cawthon's fan club thing.
They're listening.
That's weird as shit.
They're listening.
Nah, yeah, it's not weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, they're listening.
It's China, man. That's pretty bold.
Mr. Puckett, how are you?
Frederick, hey buddy. Well, you're here with me, and you got Doug, and you got Mike.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you?
Hey,
Thanks for
getting better all the time.
I know we've kind of had a weird day today, so I appreciate you taking the time. Well, I was texting Fred earlier about when I was texting you guys. Hey, what's going on, man? Tune in Tokyo. Let me know. And he's like, I'm at the emergency vet clinic with 3 dogs and 2 kids.
Whoa.
I'm like, all right, well, see you later.
Well, good talk.
Yeah, I tell you what, when you try to poison the moles out of your backyard and you got 3 setters that really like to dig into stuff,
Oh, man.
I tried to go the organic route, which I found to be like not only ineffective but also a lot of trouble. Yeah, so things got spicy in our house earlier, and yeah.
Well, it sounds like you survived it at least.
We're still rolling through the bird dog gas, but
Yeah.
Ineffective.
we're okay.
Ineffective and a whole lot of work. That sounds like this show, actually.
That
It's,
does. Apropos.
Yep.
Well, hey, buddy. Doug and Mike are familiar with your artwork and everything you do, and
I'm staring at some of it right now. It's amazing, man. It gets better every time I see it.
yeah. and
Well, I appreciate that.
we've got a little feed. When you watch the YouTube version of this, it's just kind of shuffling through a bunch of your pieces on Instagram. So we'll take it back. I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, we had a phone call. You called me, and and I don't remember exactly. I remember knowing about you and your artwork at the time, and you were trying to kind of figure out some strategies to have more people see your work.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like after that phone call, like 6 months later, everyone pretty much knew about your work. Like it happened so fast. And I feel
So
like
you're saying it worked.
yes. And and I don't even remember what your plans were or whatever it was, but I remember, I want to say one of the first times I kind of saw it on a larger level was when one of the Huff brothers, or I think Dustin might have, posted one of your drawings that you sent him. And the next thing I knew that, a lot of your stuff was in the tarpon world and guides and that sort of thing. Can you just kind of talk about kind of what you did 5 years ago to kind of get that thing going?
Your intro makes it sound like maniacal, like I kind of had a plan.
Well, hey, we all have a
If anything,
plan.
I've been the trailer hitch of the operation. I mean,
No, we all have a plan.
We know what you're up to, man. We know.
And you're right. That kind of did come off like that, but that's not at all what I mean.
Yeah.
no, but if you want to throw air quotes on career, like what my career to this point has been built off the bones of some extreme generosity of some people that I really admire, yourself included, and Dustin and Chad and a slew of people, Michael Guerin, and God, if you just got going just listing names, I'd forget them all, but
Buddy, that's the fruit of a good life.
Well, yeah, and your work speaks for
Yeah.
itself too, Fred. It's not like people aren't going to share and help out someone that has shitty art. Your
Yeah.
stuff is awesome, and it breathes, and it has a life of its own.
It
and
really
touches
does.
people. So,
I think a lot of people get into it trying to make an asset, and I'm just trying to make friends. I just,
well, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
trying my damnedest to get invited back. I find that's the hardest thing to do when you shoot and fish like I do. It's just like,
I love it.
Well, it's awesome, man. What are some of the highlights you would say in the last 5 years that your art has let you see? Like what's some cool stuff that you've been a part of?
Where has it led you?
oh man, one of the best things that came out of my artwork happened through Covey Rise magazine. I got an intro to a guy that had been a kind of a hero to mine, Ben Williams, and I got a chance to illustrate a column for him, and I did a good enough job painting him that he reached out to me through their editor and said he'd like to buy the piece. And it's like, Ben, you're 91. Money's not really a commodity you should be dealing in.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me some of your time? And he agreed to let me come out for a weekend, and I brought Lindley out. And I say that was one of the best experiences, not only because I got to meet Ben, but because my wife has like a granddad crush on him. So any firearm that Ben Williams blesses, like he sends through the text message machine, I got to buy, right? I don't really even have to ask Lindley anymore. So that's probably one of my favorite ones. Just getting, it's allowed me to just be a fly on the wall of some people that I think are really good, genuine human beings doing good work.
That's awesome.
Well, I think actually you came to Royal American about a year ago. I think you met Doug.
Yeah, well,
that was about a year ago. I think you were here. Maybe it was May or June.
You guys were on the way to a show, weren't you?
I think so.
Some sort of concert.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound typical for you guys.
No, it's weird.
So I'm sure
we would have gone to some
memorable.
live music.
I think it was a birthday party.
I think you're right. It was.
Marcus King, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Pink.
Oh, sure.
It was the Backstreet Boys.
Blue Man Group, something like that.
We were going to meet Mike and Pink. He set us up with like 4 free tickets to see Pink.
Hey, ladies got pops, man.
I'm down with Pink.
She's hot.
She's amazing. She's incredible.
She's girl.
So
she wins big year.
I got a picture right now on the screen now of the piece you did for Garden and Gun.
Yeah, the wood duck.
What? No, was it the wood duck piece?
No,
that's a wood duck.
Yeah,
so.
It's definitely a wood duck.
I was like,
I'm making sure I have it on the right thing.
Marshall are tremendous folks and so much fun to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even realize I had a leash on when I worked with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
awesome.
When was the first moment that you drew on something other than a 9x12 piece of paper or 11x14 piece of spiral sketchbook, and you were like, oh, this is cool.
I can do this.
Yeah, this is something different and neat, and it totally shocked you, and you're like, okay, I'm going forward with this. Not a napkin doesn't count either.
Well, no. I remember getting grounded when I was a kid, and my dad making me sit in the garage with him while he did something on his truck.
Yeah.
And drawing on a sheet of plywood.
That's awesome.
And I still have that chunk of wood. I'll send you a picture of it later.
Oh, that's cool.
It was actually a pretty legit horse. I'm not going to lie. If you don't know, if somebody didn't label it horse, I'd think it was like an amoeba. But yeah.
So it was a legit amoeba horse.
Yeah.
So hey,
single cell pony.
One of the things I love about your work is the movement you can see in the stuff that you draw and you paint. And I'm curious, what's been the toughest thing that you've ever tackled, like animal wise?
Oh, birds.
Really?
Birds, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, fish are, I'm not going to say they're easy because they're hard too, but like, man, if you stop and paint every feather on a bird, you miss the kind of explosion that is,
No, that makes sense.
I mean, how many people have had a rooster, like a good sized pheasant pop up out of a ditch? It looks like Icarus falling on you. Yeah. And then it gets its shit organized and takes off before you can actually gather yourself and take a shot. Like to get yourself together enough. I mean, nobody actually sees every feather on the bird, but you have this moment when you're painting or drawing them where you feel like responsible for every damn feather.
Man, I can still remember being 8 years old, the first time I ever walked up on a covey of quail. And I mean, it scared me to death.
Well, and speaking to like the kind of complexity of birds. Like they're very subtle. Like a prime example, our friend Germ's a phenomenal photographer, and we were down the Keys, and he took a picture of a cormorant. Right now, cormorants, big greasy,
we take it for granted every day.
Nasty chickens, right? Like they're just not.
Yeah.
They're not pretty birds. They're just by at a glance. But he took this picture of this cormorant sitting on a limb with this really high, like long range focus lens. And he's like, look at this picture of this cormorant. I was like, oh, cool. A nasty grease chicken. Great. And he's like, zoom in.
Look
and like,
close.
I zoomed in,
It's
like, you
beautiful.
could keep going in and in and in and in because his lens was basically the Hubble telescope, basically. But like, particularly around the eyes, I've
a
never
beautiful
noticed
bird.
they have
Oh
like
my
these
God.
very detailed, like blues
Yeah.
and purples and like their iris, like everything. I was like, holy shit, that's a beautiful animal. And like, I've just seen
That's a color you
grease
can't
stained.
almost get, right?
yeah. It's wild, and I never paid attention because all you can see at a glimpse is a grease chicken. Yeah,
I mean, I remember
hate
the
'em.
first time I looked closely at a wood stork. You
yeah.
see a wood stork, you're like,
Oh, they're
that's
ugly.
that's so ugly. Then you look close, and you're like, man, that's amazing.
I can't imagine trying to capture that though. To try to capture, like you were saying, you can't paint every feather. So I mean, I guess it's a decision from an artist. I guess you got to decide which feathers you want to paint, right?
That's when
That's exactly it.
and that's
I mean,
as an artist.
You
that's
look
when
at
you-
Paul's work too, and I mean, he's doing some editing, right? Because I mean,
It's hard though. It's hard.
I'm a bit of a chicken shit. I do everything in pencil. He's going after things with ink. I mean, that takes some clarity,
I mean, I'm looking at one right now of Andy Mill, and it's just, I mean, there's if you've ever been in this environment, and that I think that's what's special about the art that you and Paul do is it appeals so much to people who've been in that environment. And
'Cause there's
been
always
in that
motion
moment.
happening.
There's always motion.
Yeah.
You can see. I can almost. I feel like I can see smoke coming out of that cigar.
Well, that's also what frustrates me sometimes about my work is that when you're in these moments like that tarpon jumping, you have to relay that motion.
Yeah,
And it's hard to.
Yeah.
While be like, I don't want to be a realist or that's why I love Fred's work because it's breathing, it's moving.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's beautiful.
Paul, when you're fishing, I don't know if you ever get this way, but I feel like I need to get out there and do it so that I can tell the inside story. I can hide the details, and leave like a breadcrumb trail for people that really know which ends up. But at the same time, I'm kind of. You're at the pointy end of the boat, but your brain is split in half. You're trying to be a competent angler,
Right.
and not waste shots, but at the same time, you're just trying to document everything you find beautiful in the world when you're up there.
Yeah,
You don't want to forget it. You're so desperate not to forget.
I think that's why I don't consider myself a really good tarpon fisherman. Because, and I'm not.
I think you're pretty good.
No. Doug. I knew you were going to come. I'm a good caster. I'm confident with that, but I don't have the killer instinct that it takes to be like, let's just say, a tournament angler. I would never be that because I find myself smelling the roses way too much.
Yeah,
I'm
know what
enjoying all the things that happen. If I got that fish to eat the fly and I missed him, I don't care. Like I got a text. We're going to talk about my Carabao trip here in a little bit, but I got a text from a buddy of mine. I told him, yeah, man, we fed 8, we jumped 6, but we didn't get any to the boat. And he goes, oh, that's. He said a derogatory word to me.
Yeah, but that's amazing.
I had a
That's an
blast.
amazing.
I did worse in a week in the Keys. I still had fun.
My point is, like, our other buddies that fish with Bingo,
Yeah.
double and triple everything I just said, and they got 12 to the boat.
But they also paid
But-
David Magnum for a week.
But
Yeah.
I don't-
and did they process it the way you did?
But the smelling,
Maybe,
the
but
smelling
probably
the roses is the part that turns it into art.
exactly.
That's what.
I mean,
so
nobody's going to ask me to paint or draw anything from my time on the water.
maybe I will.
But
Yeah, exactly.
but I still, to some extent, I find myself, but maybe in the opposite direction. I've always been in the other camp. Like I've always been super driven to be really good and to be really successful at everything I did on the water. And as I've gotten older, I'm from the other side. Like I find myself getting frustrated or whatever. and then I have to pull myself out of that and say, you know, in my head, I say, Mike, just look around you right now.
Yeah,
like,
why does
take
it
a look
matter?
at like, and I've gotten better at that as I've gotten older. I've gotten better at like, I don't want to say like the cliche, you know, I'm just good to be out here, you know.
Yeah.
But it kind of is
That's
along
fishing.
those lines. You know, I still care. I still get angry. I still get frustrated. I still
Yeah.
throw a little temper tantrum sometimes, and you know. But I do find myself sometimes like trying to find a sweet balance to where I can
Yeah.
still try to do my job up there on the pointy end and
Yeah.
take the time to appreciate that I have the privilege and the luck in life to be standing on the pointy end.
Sure.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
and I think
Absolutely.
one of the things I love so much about this kind of art is I have immense gratitude for the work that you guys do when you do this, because as you get older and you start putting a lot of these trips under your belt, you long for the memories so much, and you want to think back on these times, and you want to feel like real visceral about it. And sometimes when you look at someone's art like this, it brings back memories of your own stuff, of your own trips, and it really
I tell
does.
you what,
Sure.
my first tarpon, I was so blessed, and I didn't even know the magnitude of getting the fish with Dustin. But I remember
Yeah.
I came back with a line burn, just a really good deep one,
On the
and I mean, it looked,
that's a rite of passage, man.
yeah, I mean, a good deep one. And
Yeah.
about a week after I've been back, I'm sitting on the couch with my wife, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I'm picking the scab off of this line burn." She's like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I want the son of a bitch to be a scar."
you wanted to be there. You know,
I thought you were going to
Yeah.
save the
I
scab.
never want to forget that.
you
know? And
Mike
I mean, that's
and I
what
are
I'm trying
looking
to
at our
make in my
hands trying to
artwork,
find
right?
one.
This kind of
Yeah.
ever visible
Yeah.
scar tissue that
I love that.
lets you know that you were there.
I
That's
used
awesome.
to have a really good scar on the back of my right knuckles, and it was from a big albie in the Outer Banks, and I got
Oh,
my
yeah.
hand caught in the handle as like I wasn't paying attention, and one of my fingers got sucked into the spool while he was doing his thing, and it just and it
Yeah,
took
it sucks.
all the skin off about 3 knuckles, and I had a good little scar for a
Oh,
while. That was
boy.
one of those where I'd look at it and be like, oh yeah, you know, like that's good shit.
Well, it's kind of what's in that Mangum film, 120 Days.
Yeah.
When he goes, he said sometimes when you hold the fish, it beats up your hand, but it's like, man, it feels good sometimes to let
Yeah,
the
it
fish
does.
beat you up a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, they deserve it.
He owes you one. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
My kids were talking about this last night with the guy that lost one of his fingers because he made it into the Olympics. They had to amputate his finger.
Yeah, I heard about that. I read.
I mean, tell me that isn't going to be like the story that gets you a free beer for the rest of your life.
I mean, I love it.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
That's, yeah,
Oh, that's great.
I don't know the story. You'll have to tell me later.
yeah.
So, Fred, what?
That's about all I know.
So I'm going to see you in September for the One Fly, and
Yes, sir.
You got any other? Oh, by the way, we got Rangers and Cardinals starting here in a little bit. Game 2. He lives in St.
I went
I
last
was
night.
going to ask, like, where is Fred?
St. Louis.
I'll believe
Yeah.
there for. I had lunch in St. Louis one time. That was about the extent of my St. Louis time. I was driving west, quick stop,
Quick stop.
saw the arch, had lunch at a
Barbecue?
food truck. No, it was a food truck. We ended up powered through that day and we ended up in Kansas City for the night.
Okay.
But we were blowing through St. Louis.
Man,
About,
you can take a
lunchtime.
wrong turn in
East
St.
side.
Louis.
Yep.
I was riding
Yeah.
downtown. I don't know. It looked fine.
I'm sure these nice fellows know how to get back on the interstate. Hey guys,
Hey guys,
what's the quick?
you know, they're like I
Roll
found
up.
myself in a lot of those situations in life, and I found out that basically, if you just act like you belong, like nothing bothers you, it creeps them out more than than your fear of them. They're like, something ain't right with this guy. Like he should not be that calm walking in here.
Yeah.
And they don't bother you. It's worked for
Yeah.
me so far.
So okay,
I lived over in Helsinki for a little while, and I remember going through the train station there once,
Yeah.
and there was a guy in a 3-piece suit that leaned over and picked up a homeless guy's beer and took a huge swig of it. That's up in all the right way.
that's like low as low can get.
Dude, nobody
Yeah, I was
ever fucked with that guy. Ever.
I can't remember who had this quote, but it was the the highest order of low life is the most favored position in nature.
Yes.
And I was like, I've been trying to live that.
Dude,
That's great.
it's amazing what a little undue confidence will do for you.
Well, buddy, you got any other adventures you got either before Jackson or after?
Oh, let's see. So, family and I are heading up to Washington State, try to catch some salmon this next week.
Nice.
We're taking off Sunday.
South.
Be up there for a week and then
Cool.
come back. That'd be the end of August. Then I've got a week of September to get my head straight. Then all of my bird dogs disappear this Sunday. They all go out to Nebraska with Andy and Zach Ernie for a month.
Nice.
And
nice.
then they're going to run around, get a nose full of sharptail. And then a week after I'm out there fishing with you, Paul, we're going to load them back up and drive out. My buddy Kyle Wagner, we're going to get all of the dogs together. He's got my dog Petey's mom and dad both. So we're
awesome.
going to run the whole family around and try to find some sharptails and maybe some grouse out in his neck of the woods, kind of central Wyoming. So
That's great.
Well,
Yeah.
I got one more question, and
Right.
how we won't get into the how it happened, but what has doing the last couple album covers for Zach Bryan kind of done? Has that moved the needle for your artwork? Like, have you gotten what is it?
it's made me a lot more popular with my children
There you
and
go.
our babysitters.
How old are your
and
kids?
My son's
by the
hockey
way?
coach. I've got a son that's 8 and a daughter that's 6. And
That's prime time right there.
Yeah, that's
That's-
it, man.
So they're
My,
aware, they're aware of kind of the coolness of that.
Dad's pretty cool.
yeah. The funny thing though is like the other day we were listening to the album and there's an F-bomb that gets dropped and I looked back in the rearview mirror and I said, "Hey James, that's not a word that you get to handle yet, right?" It's kind of like
Handle.
like a pistol, kind of like a pistol. You know it exists, but you don't get to handle it yet.
Yep.
And he said, "Yeah, Dad, but I think he just learned it." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, you know me, when I learn a new word, I use it a lot." And I was like, "That's a profound thing for an 8-year-old."
It is. That is profound.
Well, he'd be real disappointed to meet me because I've just learned a lot of words that I use on repeat.
Or don't let him listen to this podcast.
No,
ever.
Don't let him listen to this.
I use that thing
Well, man,
way too much.
did you have a good time in New Orleans last week?
Oh man, it was pretty cool.
Cool.
It was one of those things that, God, in the 11th hour, you think it's not going to happen. It's not going to all kind of come together.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of emails and texts and stuff like that. You don't realize just to move a box of T-shirts from one side of the Superdome to the other takes a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of heavy lifting to see that stage go together.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty awe-inspiring.
Were you there pretty much all day, kind of watching some of that stuff, kind of behind the scenes?
Yeah, and actually, I got a chance to meet a guy, Clay Gibson, who had collaborated on some artwork for the Pink Skies EP, and
It's amazing.
finally got to meet him in person. And this guy, you want to talk about talented, but just as nice a human being as you're going to come across. Took a bunch of time out of his day and walked around with me. Got to ride razor scooters around.
Don't you kind of hate that though? Like when you meet somebody that's like way like in anything, not just art, but like when I have people that are better at something than me that I look up to, and then I meet them, and they're also like a grade A plus
Awesome person.
one awesome person with a very like great, like very kind and generous.
Oh,
And you're
for
like,
sure.
you're like, fuck you, man. Like, come on, give me something. Like, like maybe that's just me, but like, I want him to be human somewhere.
Yeah,
you know, like, you're already better than me.
I really like you a lot.
Yeah,
We're not
exactly.
cheap. You gotta have a cheap. So
Yeah, right. I'm terrible.
It's
I'm a
nice
bad
when
person.
you meet people that you have to dig around to find their flaws.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they just wear them right on their forehead, you know,
yeah.
one or the other.
That's true.
Well, man, it's
I'm
fun
probably
seeing.
more column B.
It's been fun seeing all the stuff you've been doing the last 5-6 years, man.
Hell yeah.
Same, man. I still can't wait to get together and do some fishing with you, buddy.
Well, we're doing it. Let's go attack mode in about a month and a half.
I love it.
Yeah.
We got a place. Scotty's gonna let us
I was
stay there
talking-
again.
I was talking to, you know, Simon Chu.
I don't think so.
He's a Spring Creek guide up in Bozeman area. Just a real fine human being. He was telling me about a guy that he knows up near Butte, and he talked about clipping the hooks off of his flies. And I started doing that this last year.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I've been having a lot of fun at this, Paul. You got to give this a try.
Just to get to eat, and then
Just to get to eat, yeah.
Yeah, just get to eat. Because you can make them eat like 4 or 5 times if they're really bad.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
So if they don't get hooked, you can actually, because at the end of the day, you're kind of like, man, I got to take this fucking fish off. Like,
But
yeah.
then, I mean, Fred, what am I going to put on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, what am I going to put on the gram? Yeah, I tell you what, 'cause, you know, even like a 16, 18-inch fish, it doesn't look like much. You put it in the net, you've got to get the fisheye lens out to really make that thing look heroic.
But you know, I can really see how that's fun, especially with dries and stuff. You get them to sip on
Oh,
top.
buddy, it
and
is so
eat it.
satisfying.
you gotta
really
lose
cool.
you gotta lose your elbows to make a trout look real good. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Some of those tiny hands.
Yeah, tiny hands, no elbows. Poor guy.
Yeah.
well, keep the hook on there during the one fly, so maybe we'll actually get above,
Oh, come on.
maybe we'll
Yeah.
actually get above 30th place.
Do you know what fly you're using yet?
Streamer.
That's it. A white clouser, a black clouser.
Last year I finally used a dry fly on one day, and I'm actually glad I did. But yeah, streamer. I'm a streamer guy.
That's awesome.
Hey, buddy. Well, good luck with
Has
everything.
anybody
man.
ever fished the near enough in that?
That's a good question. I mean, it seems totally reasonable. What I usually fish is a smaller version of Doug's tarpon sickle thing. It's like a little tarpon fly, but it looks kind of like an ear nuff. Actually, I fished the tan version of it. You know, it looks similar.
What's that streamer I was using on the Missouri?
Home Invader. That's what I'm thinking of.
I'm trying to think of the name of that thing.
I don't know.
Everybody uses it. That thing's
Near nuffs, good, though. I like the near nuffs. Maybe you should
Yeah.
try it, buddy. One day, just give it a try one day.
Yeah, maybe we have like a little session with Sanchez and see if we can get him to tie something up that's regionally appropriate.
There you go. He's the man. He's the man that knows how to do it. Maybe I should take a Mike Benson fly for the one fly.
I could tie you a little lanky mud minnow, make it a little more taily than normal. I've caught big brown trout on the
Hey,
mud
let's
minnow.
work together.
I can
Give me one fly for one day, and I'll use Doug's fly for one day.
All right, I'll give you. I'm going to modify the mud minnow.
Make Fred one.
I'll modify the mud minnow to make it. I never tie one of anything. That's rule number one. I don't know how artists.
Give me
y'all are used to making one off. So like, I never tie
Don't
one.
let him around your sandwich.
Exactly.
Or your beer. I'll get order of 4.
All right.
I'll do an order of 4.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like one of my patterns modified to be a little troutier.
Yeah,
That's
just put
good.
extra glue on it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it'll work. I'm telling you, I've caught big browns on it on the East Coast, but
Okay. If it's moving and it looks good, no matter what it is.
brown trout.
That's very
and
true.
Cutthroats are even dumber than brown trout. So if it'll get a brown,
What did they say?
South.
Colors are for customers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You set by the fish, or you're selling on the fish.
brown and gold. That's my colors for everything. If you give me 2 colors, like if I gotta have one color to fish around the world, everywhere I've been,
Yeah.
tan and gold.
Let's do it.
I'll catch anything on tan and
I
gold.
love that.
Bonefish,
I like that.
tarpon. I don't give a shit.
All right, Freddie. Normally
Black and purple.
Normally I have applause to send you out.
You can go, yeah, you can go that one. That's another good route. I'm sticking with my tan and gold.
We don't have the applause this time,
All
buddy.
right.
Just pretend
Well,
you're
you want me to bring you anything from Middle Earth?
Possibly. I'll get with
right.
you on that.
Yeah, put in a brisket order and I can.
Actually, I'll just
transport it.
send you a Texas Ranger hat. You can wear it around town.
Oh man.
Okay,
I'll take it.
Do not bring me a St. Louis Cardinals hat.
No, come on.
All right,
Yeah,
buddy.
bring me a Ron Washington jersey. I can wear it to all the home games.
I love that. I will.
Nothing assures a Cardinal victory quite like a Ron Washington
Oh, my God.
jersey in the stadium.
Yeah, with a little booger sugar on the side. Thanks, dude. Thanks for the time.
Good to talk to you,
Hey,
Mike.
thank you, man.
Nice
Talk
meeting
to
you.
Talk soon.
Likewise.
See you, man.
Applause.
Oh,
We don't have any drops.
Frederick. That was awesome.
Look, all my cameras are out.
You turn. Well, they probably got like a sleep function.
Yeah, they might
Stick with that
be
one for
dead.
Yeah, we got one camera.
Dead batteries.
Hey.
Hey.
Which camera is that?
I gotta get it all
Oh, it's
figured
camera.
out.
That's the one that was out earlier.
Camera one?
The
Camera
GoPro.
two?
Yeah, there it is.
Camera two.
That's all right. Well, we got to see all of Fred's artwork.
Should we end this segment anyway right now?
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah, I
time
think
to
so,
do it.
man. Yeah, I'm good with it. That was a good interview.
Yeah,
we're
that was
not. We're
fun.
not usually good at those.
It's still tripping me out to see text from Paul Coffin.
Just let it be.
It's just weird.
It's AI. It's algorithms. It's the NSA. You can blame who you want. There you go.
I blame it all.
This bears the empty.
It's almost.
Sounds of eating.
I can hit the open road, run my life away, and I choose you.
Oh, it's clear we took a break because now all of a sudden we just have pizza to the show.
I see lovers all around me, giving up and giving
One thing about Charleston, for those of y'all who aren't Charleston, I have no shortage of good restaurants and stuff. But over the last like 10 years, food trucks. A lot of great food trucks. And we got
Changed the
tons
game.
of we got tons of breweries and stuff, so they're always around.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is a pizza shop set up over across the way here at the bar.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad size.
Pretty good.
So the refinery behind us is a music venue. It's got a couple bars back here. Unbelievable spot to see music. So if you're ever in Charleston, you know you're going to be here. Look up the music calendar at the refinery.
I think the owner is going to swing by in a minute. So
It'd actually be cool to talk to Austin about
it would be.
how this all happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an amazing spot to see a show. It really is.
I've been wanting to get over here to see one. I haven't yet, but
Well, this Thursday I'm going to come here.
Okay.
Phosphorescence playing.
Yeah. And Head and the Heart.
They're the main act.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
Phosphorescence could be the main act too. I'm kind of
Absolutely.
surprised.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come here and work Thursday, aka go watch the show from the balcony, Mike. So if you want to, Thursday night, you're welcome.
I'm going to come over here and give you emotional support while you're working.
No, I'm supposed to draw you first, though.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I love it.
what is it? ASMR? Isn't that what they What does that stand for?
I don't know. But honestly, the French whisper, have y'all ever tried it? Hello, everybody.
They creep me out. The fly tying one now.
I like it.
I love it.
Maybe I'm just weird. It gives
I'll
me the
fall
creeps
right
now.
asleep. Do you want me to open that for you?
So, yeah, please.
Greasy hands.
So, did you see Southern Culture and the Fly do their reenact? Their read?
I am.
God, I can't do it either.
So, Southern Culture did a mock on
You're greasy.
a mock on her ASMR thing.
Wait, what does ASMR mean?
I just asked that.
Well,
God damn it.
I got this Google.
You got some
button.
Adult sleep
ASMR.
music recording. Adult sleep music recording. That's what I'm gonna go with.
What? See, you can't just look up something. It's got to be like this long, drawn
It's
out.
probably audio sensory.
Yes, audio sensory memory.
Remember? Oh, did y'all come up with some trivia?
No, I never did.
Oh man,
But we can look up a trigger.
I'm really
trivia
bummed
game
on
here.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so So the one that is out there, I forget what it's called on this.
I hurt my hand trying to open that beer.
Did you? Are
Did
you
we
okay?
open it or not?
No, I couldn't get it, bro.
Here, give it to
It's
me.
all messed up now.
You can blame Coors. That's a ridiculously tight lid.
Curves, come on, that ain't gonna work. You need something with
You
grip.
need vice grips. That's what you need.
Why would you blow out an O-ring here?
Let me just tap.
All right. Look. I'm about to pull this off.
What is this fucking Excalibur beer?
Will this be really not get open? That's unbelievable.
I really can't open it. Hold on.
Coors, you owe Paul a beer.
Oh God! The mountains are blue.
That will be open. I'm not going to let this not be open.
All right. Hang on.
No. Okay, so ASMR fly tying thing. I forget what her thing is.
She ties pretty well.
next
I agree with
goes-
that. She ties better than a lot of people.
The whip stitch. Oh.
You loosened it though.
Yeah, I loosened it up for you.
Um,
I did what I could.
so Southern culture on the fly. Hey, we have the ability now to like put visual things.
By the way, Southern Culture on the Fly got me two of the sweetest visors I have ever seen.
I saw those.
I can't wait to wear them.
You're a visor guy.
I am a visor guy.
There are visor people
Yeah.
and non-visor people.
Yeah, I love a good visor.
I don't mind visors. They don't wear that great on me.
I love a good seltzer.
All right. So here we go. There's no audio. Actually, there's no audio. It's just you're gonna have to like.
Is that Kirby?
But you get the idea here.
Yeah. Southern Culture boys. Dingleberry.
Oh.
Yeah.
People see.
Yeah, you might want to let them see it.
So he flicks the hook and it instantly just comes out of the vise.
Oh God! No.
He cut hair off the dog's butt.
The Dingleberry. I love it.
Oh yeah, good little dog. Look how just fuzzy and just nasty
I
this
know.
fly
I love
is. My favorite is just how it flicks though right out of the hook or
Dude,
out of the vise.
I'm gonna
I
fish.
love that he's just like
Fish
done.
would eat the
Yeah,
hell out of
so-
that. Well, it looks like a stimulator.
There you go. But yeah, so
I'm just gonna eat this whole
I
thing.
got a couple
You
topics.
should eat it.
So today I was thinking, I was in a coffee shop of my choosing today, and I just love this photo. I was in a coffee shop of my choosing today, and saw a dude wearing a tank top,
Yeah.
and it just kind of made me think: in what situations is a guy allowed to wear a tank top? 'Cause I don't think there's too many.
No, I've never worn one.
I mean, I did it as like a kid.
I did in 5th grade. Remember in the 80s, the hot chartreuse colored
Yeah.
shirt was big.
I think we should all wear them for the next podcast and see who's trying to flex the most.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Tank tops on the next show for sure. Now that people can watch us and see.
I will say the older I get, I don't wear tank tops, but the length of my inseam on my shorts is getting shorter. The
Oh,
older I
check
get.
my
I
top.
appreciate a good like 5-inch inseam.
I got
Yeah.
one. Look at this.
Look at those things. Yeah.
5-inch,
Maybe
baby.
yeah, 5 a little bit.
Yeah.
Let the people see them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But so one time on a flight, so you always get, sometimes you get the heavy person sitting next to you. I'm
Yeah.
a big dude, but I sit in my zone and I'm not creeping in on your zone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But said large person, last time when Sarah and I were flying back from Montana with Piper, Sarah and Piper had their 2 seats together.
Yeah.
I had aisle, so I had to share a seat in the middle. Large.
Large.
I'm doing this.
Like, should I had to buy 2 seats large?
But one time, I had a guy wearing a freaking tank top that was large. And it was so fucking gross. I had to get tank top, sidearm, and
That's skin to skin contact,
yes,
man. That's not okay.
It's not okay.
No.
And then I saw a guy today wearing a tank top. So anytime I see a dude wearing a tank top, it takes me back to that day on the airplane. Tank tops should be fucking outlawed unless you're literally working out. You take them off when you get in the car. You don't go anywhere with a tank top on.
You know, that sounds like a good song. You should write that song.
Wearing them a tank top.
Oh, tank top.
I got my cut in the
But
flat
for like
top.
planes in general, like I can't.
I was raw dogging this. Everyone's sitting next to a tank top.
Raw dog is this 707.
I don't think you should have to dress up for public transport like a plane, but I feel like you should not be.
You should be responsible.
Yeah.
Everybody who's listening, I just want to remind you that you have sat through this and watched Mike Benson eat an entire pizza.
Yes, it
What
does
if I
happen.
There's another one here.
Yeah, I do want a slice.
There
You guys want to hear about my Carabel trip?
Hell yeah, dude.
Look, what happened to this weird?
I don't know.
happened here? All right, so Carabel, Florida. Went down there.
Florida.
Went down there with Alex.
You want to take that away from me?
We've had a trip down there with Nick Sassig before, and so we got converted to David's buddy Jack Foley.
Good guy.
And we go with my Texas buddies Garrett and Chance, and they fish with Mangum. But we all stay at the same place. We stay at Mangum's house.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. We have a blast.
Mhm.
Last year I got a mohawk haircut.
Nice.
You know, these kind of things just kind of happen naturally.
I think Mike's done that before.
No, I didn't know to do that. I never got one from Mangum.
There's something to be said for that. We even did a podcast
Give me that.
at Mangum's place while he was cutting someone else's hair
All
in his
right.
living room. We called it Mangum's Barbershop.
You want another piece?
No. Yeah. I feel better now. I feel human.
All right.
So we had four days of set out of anything from 3 miles per hour wind to 12 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And it was exactly how Sail Flow said it was going to be. Like, it nailed it out. Every day we had great weather.
Which is rare for those of you that don't rely on sail flow in your day-to-day life. That shit is never right. It's always wrong in the wrong direction. Like, if you want it to be a little windier, it's going to be flat calm. If you want it to be a little calmer, it's going to be blowing its tits off.
I've learned, though, if it says 5, it's going to be 10.
Mhm.
Like, it's always going to be a little wind, especially on the water. When you,
I have had times where it says, I was like, man, I wish I had a little bit of wind on the water. And it'll say it's going to be 2 or 4, and it'll be 0. And you're like, great. Even worse. But anyway, carry on.
So I'm not going to, tell you how all 4 days were like another podcast that I've listened to before does, and it just wears me the fuck out. I'm like, really? We're on day 3, 10 a.m.
Day 3, 8:35 a.m. I had just felt a little tingle in my balls
That's
from the
when I
first
turned it off.
coffee.
That's when I turn it off. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. So, great weather. Fish were there. Fish were eating. Every time first day we had a bite contest. How many eats are you getting? $100. By 9 a.m., we were getting a text. They're on the 7th eat, and we're still trying to get our second. Like,
Jesus.
Mangum had there's pet fish, man. He's got that fishery so dialed in.
Yeah.
Where to be, what tide, what angle to be at, what the strip should be. And Chance and Garrett are good anglers.
Sure.
It's one thing to have good fishermen on your boat. They're
That's
basically
right.
the extension of what Mangum is telling them to do.
Yeah.
And we were seeing fish too, but it's just incredible how, by 10 a.m. we've gotten 3 eats, which we're pumped about. And,
Right.
1 or 2 jumps, whatever. And those guys have tripled that
Mm.
every day. And that's just what every day was. Like, we kind of, day 3, we learned not to make bets anymore. It's just stupid.
Right.
You learned not to pay for their beer the whole time they were there?
Yeah. And another thing, too, is Mangum's, that Chittum that he has,
Yeah.
300 horsepower.
He's got 300 outboard.
It's the
on it.
Widowmaker. It's the boat that basically Dustin and Thane had made that Chittum now makes, where you can actually buy it.
Doesn't it have ballast?
Yeah, it can take in water.
Take in
Yeah,
water.
water tanks, yeah.
Keep it. Wow. That's amazing.
So we got in that thing. It was like day 2. It was a little slow, so we all met somewhere, and Megan was like, you and Alex want to get on this thing and check it out? And we're like, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And Garrett and Chance were like, wait, man, this is we paid for this boat. We're not paying for that boat. So, they were messing around with us. But so we went, I think, 72.
Holy shit.
And when it was in
72 with 3 people on a flat,
dude, and that boat was so stable.
72 miles per hour.
And it was, so it has the dial going. I want to say, was it you and me that went in Dinghy's boat one time?
Yeah, and he got
50.
wasted. He got so fast, it
We
scared
were
me
going
to death.
maybe mid 50s, and it's
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're fucking trying to grab.
Oh
shit.
yeah.
I hit 68 in a flats boat one time with Irwin. That's the fastest
Well,
I
then
ever.
you know
You're
what
kind
it's
of
like.
jiggling on your
Fucking-
seat.
The thing
It's
is, this
not
chitin,
okay.
though, this chitin though it's not doing like weird stuff. It's pretty set in its way, and it was scary. Like I was sitting there thinking to myself, if we hit a certain thing, like
How
I
far
forgot
would
how to
I
add
fly?
more.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when we kind of came down off plane, and I was like, okay, I don't ever have to do that. And then I was asking Garrett and Chance, I go, so when you guys are going from spot to spot, that's pretty ideal conditions. Are y'all like open, like wide open? He goes, oh yeah.
Oh,
So I go, you're doing that all day? He goes, oh yeah.
It's like you don't buy that boat and not run it to the like nuts.
That's how David rolls, man. He rolls
Some
hard.
guys like speed, and some
Yeah.
guys don't.
Yeah. That's what
I-
Alex always says.
the fastest I've ever had driven a skiff was the Hughes I used to guide, and I hit 58 in it by myself, like just alone, and like that was
Too much.
yeah. Well, and then that big ass boat was a 21 Hughes. I mean, like so, like I had
This
it.
is a 21 Chitum.
Yeah,
so
I had it tabbed up and aired out, and I don't have ballast tanks and shit. And so she was just walking on her chine. And I was like,
that ain't
that's fast enough. I'm about to become
Yeah.
airborne here in about 3
Yeah.
seconds.
Imagine the horror of that.
But now, I mean, shit, like those Freeman cats of 40-foot long
Yeah.
offshore boats running 70 mile an
Well,
hour.
that's
80
not
mile
gonna
an hour.
flip.
I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was a good trip. It was good condition. We had great conditions. We had a good time. That little tiki bar down there.
that picture you sent me, texted to me, that fish was up there, son.
Yeah,
that
that
fish went for a high jump record. Like
That was a laid up fish.
So
wasn't
that was Garrett on that rod. Yeah, that was a laid up
it?
fish.
Yeah.
Afternoon, those fish. And Jacob said those laid up fish just jump high.
Dude, that thing was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, it's hard. It's very hard in a picture to judge, but like
Yeah.
it looks like it's 10 plus feet
For
over
sure.
the
I'd say
water.
like 15.
It was
Well,
up
yeah.
in the air.
I did my best way to like measure how tall the boat is, and Garrett put it at 12 or 13.
Yeah,
Okay.
it,
But
it was.
yeah.
it could be
Yeah.
15. I don't
It
know.
was up there. I was like, it was. I think it's like it looked like somebody like cut and like pasted it
Yeah.
higher than it should be.
I mean, you can
It's a cool
make an
shot.
entire comment while it's in the air.
yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just like, That's something I haven't seen before.
Yeah. And the cool part, like Mangum's doing this. You know,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Love those big jumps, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a fun trip. I think those guys boated like 13 fish
Jesus.
in 4 or 5 days, and those guys were they were killing. Oh, but at the same time though, Alex and I had a blast.
Yeah.
Like what I
Yeah.
was saying earlier when we had Fred on. I mean, we fed 12 fish or 10, whatever it was, and
Yeah.
jumped 5 or 6, and we didn't get any of the boat, but it didn't ruin our day.
No.
Yeah.
We had 3 or 4 that just sawed off right before we were about to grab them.
99. Like I like to touch one every once in a while, but honestly, the eat. Yeah.
I do too, Michael.
Yeah, the eat and like get a couple jumps out of them, and I'm good. Like to be fair, I mean, because most of it's just sweating and grunting and cussing, you know, between the eat and touching them.
Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while, you want to grab one and just be like, all right, you know,
Yeah.
just for that feeling. But like honestly, yeah, if I went all day and like never touched one, but put 5 or 6 in the air, that
Yeah.
call it a win, baby. That's
Yeah.
in the win column for me. I love that.
I do have one good
agree.
story. I think it was day 3, and this is the day after we had, at this point we had been in his boat and felt what that's like to go that fast in his boat.
Yeah.
And we're both at the marina, and I think they kind of got set up first, so they're kind of backing out a little bit ahead of us. And by the time they get to kind of where you can just kind of hit it, it's only like a 70 yards, it's not far at all. And by the time that they got where you can kind of hit it, we're backing out. So as we straighten out, we're seeing them like gone. And we're poking around, kind of talking and bullshit, and we're not really in a hurry. And it's right at 7:15 in the morning. Sun's coming up behind us. And right where we get where we can hit it, we start hitting it, and Jack gets a text, kind of comes off the engine. What the fuck? They've already got one on. And I'm not kidding. In that amount of time.
Oh God.
Now, there's a big point on Alligator Point.
Yeah.
You have to go around, and there's a spot that's
Yeah.
In that
500 yards. When you turn the point, there's a
Yeah.
spot 500 yards there. So that's where they went. But just getting that text, just like, it's not defeating, but it's just like, what the fuck? So they wanted us to go boat side and take a photo.
Yeah.
Because you got this amazing just light.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
that,
perfect. Yeah.
that magic moment. So we went.
But you're also like, I kind of also want to go fishing.
Yeah, like we've got fish rolling where we want to go, but now you can't say no.
No, you can't say
Because
no.
Chance wants a shot of his fish boat side with the sun glaring, and so we did it.
And it is a good picture.
Yeah, it's a cool shot.
It's
So
a great pick.
yeah, so that's kind of what it's just defeating, but it's also happy.
Yeah, you're like, fuck you guys.
And Megan kind of plays that game too.
Oh yeah, he does.
Like, it's kind of like
you got to keep him under your thumb a little bit. Like,
Maybe I'll let you slip off and fish a little bit.
and Jack does a good job of playing it. Yeah. So no, I had a great time, man. Like you can't get dates with Mangum. You might be able to in the winter red fishing, like in that area, like Santa Rosa Beach. But if you can't get dates with David, get dates with Jack. Man, he's awesome, Jack Foley. And I think they book all their trip through
Shallow
water expeditions. Yeah,
expeditions. Yeah. Shallow water expeditions.
So I think it's through Old Florida. Fly shop.
It's over there in watercolor.
Old
something
Florida.
Like that.
Old Florida.
That's the one that's above Miami.
Is it?
Old is in watercolor. Olay is in Fort.
Old Florida was
Boca
in Apalachicola.
Yeah.
Now, Apalachicola, there's one there, but that's
Appalachian
Forgotten
Outfitters.
Coast.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Appalachian Outfitters.
Well, there's Appalachian Outfitters, and there's Forgotten Coast is in Apalachicola as well. And then, it doesn't matter.
All that stuff.
All that.
But yeah, there you go. Tarpon in late July.
Anna Maria Island. I'm telling you, that's got some action.
That's where you went?
Anna Maria. Yeah, it's north of Boca Grande.
Yeah.
So it's probably, 60 miles north.
Like near Charlotte Harbor.
It's north of that,
North
and it's got some awesome stuff. Now, it doesn't have a lot of turf, so I definitely would never recommend anyone go on their own.
Turf is in like just place
Like room to fish. Yeah, I would say get with one of these
so
guys.
you can get on other people's action really fast without knowing what's going on.
You could stumble upon it, but it is a really, really great area.
Now, Mike, you went out and fished at flood tide today or yesterday.
Yeah,
we have one right now as we speak.
Well, it's over now, but we had one. High would have been right about 5.
Man, that water's got to be warm.
It wasn't bad yesterday. I mean, I didn't have my GPS on, so I can't tell you the number, but it didn't feel bad. But I found some fish. Yeah, I hit some stuff. I ain't fished the Wando in a whole dang long time, but
thank you.
I fished some of my old spots in the Wando. Found some fish. They were happy, and then on top of that, I just went running around and just ran the boat really, and. So the tide was like at 4:30 up there, and I didn't get home till 10 o'clock at night because after the tide, me and Germs and Luke rafted up in the middle of the Wando, somewhere around Horbutt Creek, and we just drifted down the middle of the Wando. There wasn't nobody on the water.
Yeah, and
we just drifted down the middle of the Wando, drinking beers and eating fried chicken and talking shit till like started getting dark, and I was like, "Oh shit, we should probably go." And
I saw the pic that y'all had like posts.
Yeah, well, that was our situation for like 2 or 3 hours. We just floated down the river.
I love that.
Yeah, that was the reason I went out there, because I just want to hang with those guys. I was by myself in my skiff, so fishing. If you've never poled a skiff and tried to cast a fly rod from the poling platform, it's not easy.
It's just a shit show.
Yeah,
it becomes one.
It took me 2 or 3 fish to get it really dialed in. It's the first time I've done it on that boat.
Yeah,
and but like I said, I fed one beautifully. And he just did not like the fly, which, it happens. And then the next one.
So he went for it.
Oh, yeah. He was cruising, kind of tip and tailing, real aggressive, looked great. Let him put the fly right where it needed to be. And he turned on it and started coming out. I'm just tick, 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 ticking it through the grass. And he's on it. And he got right up on him. I went, no, hell no. Like, just peeled out. Which, I mean, it is what it is. And then so he was tailing here. It was like a little point of grass, and he was on this side. And I'd already seen the second fish on the backside, so I kind of just repositioned the boat a little bit. Second fish, that was on me. I I just did what you're not supposed to do, and I was looking at the fish when I was casting instead of picking a spot to cast to, and I just hit her right between the eyes.
Yeah.
I'm too accurate, Paul. That's the problem. Is I'm
Dude,
too accurate. If
I
I'm
know,
looking at it, that fly's gonna hit it. That's it. So I put it right on her and just smack it right in the head. Now, sometimes I've had them eat that, occasionally, but more often than not,
Well, the worst is when you're doing the cast and when you're about right here is when you go, oh fuck, it's gonna. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
You know what it's gonna happen.
and I whacked her right in the head. But it is what it is. And then I didn't. After that, I buzzed around.
Fresca.
Yeah, Fresca.
Everybody loves a
bourbon
little
in the Fresca.
Everybody loves a little Fresca.
I love
Yeah.
Fresca.
I bombed around looking for some more fish. Never found anything else. But and the thunder rolls
And the lightning strap.
Yeah. Okay.
We did that. Let's see. I got some other thoughts, other things. We don't really have any bits tonight. We might.
We'll
forgot
come
to-
back in. Yeah, I was too hungry. I was hangry. I was starting to get hangry.
Yeah.
I literally hadn't eaten anything since lunch.
I want to hear. I've got actually one more. Let's call it a Paul Puckett observation.
Okay.
So Teslas.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a bumper sticker on a Tesla, whether it's in a window or a bumper?
No.
I haven't.
Seen one yet. No.
They're not allowed to be on them.
Are you serious?
I'm just next time make an observation.
I always cringe when I see bumper stickers on paint. Anyway, anytime I see a sticker on paint,
Well,
I'm like,
I am
that's a bad
really
idea.
proud to say that I have seen a big old G on a Cybertruck.
What's
A
a G?
G. A
Loomis?
Gordon?
What's a G?
Like a Gordon lemon?
The University of Georgia, man.
Oh.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, well, of course we had to.
Look, I'm a Georgia fan.
Okay.
You don't understand that.
So you
I mean,
have,
come on.
but you have seen a
Yes,
sticker
I
on
have.
a Tesla.
Yes, I have.
I want everyone out there to pay attention to this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because it's a truck that happened.
Okay.
I've never seen a Tesla sedan with a sticker on it.
I have seen a Biden Harris sticker.
Stop it. You haven't either. You're just calling me out. You're bullshitting. So anyway, challenge us. Send us a note on Barely Live. And
Yeah.
get on the damn podcast, Apple Podcast. Give us a little review.
Yeah, please do.
Or not even a review. Just poke some shit at us. Poke us a little bit.
And seriously, if anyone can capture a picture, send it in to us. We will put it up.
Really get the edge of the frame together. Anyway,
I guarantee you somebody out there has seen a sticker or something on a Tesla.
I don't know.
I've seen it on a Prius.
Let's just put Betty White eating a hot dog for a little bit
That works.
on a Prius.
Man,
Yeah, but Prius will have stickers. They will have every fish sticker, PHISH fish.
that's a really disturbing picture.
Well, she likes hot dogs, Doug.
Yes, she does, Paul.
It ain't your fault. It ain't,
She does.
It ain't your concern.
She does. This Fresca's tasty.
So
So what else do we need to chop up?
let's just have a couple thoughts here. I was going to have you. We'll get close to taking a break.
Yeah.
I want you to give me a review about the Flatland Cavalry show that happens behind us out here.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah,
We can do it.
because I've got my observation, but I didn't really go in the show and really partake in it.
Music was fantastic. I was incredibly uncomfortable.
You will say fantastic though.
Yeah,
music?
I would
Okay.
say
You liked
fantastic. Music was great.
Okay.
I'm very wary of an under 21 show. Yeah.
Called the Charleston Crowd.
College of Charleston. Yeah, there was a lot of very young people.
Yeah.
Dressed up in very warm
It
gear.
looked like they were all dressed up in Yellowstone, like as if they were standbys or what do they call them? when people-
Yeah, extras.
extras.
It could have been a shoot for Yellowstone.
Yeah, a Yellowstone.
I mean,
show
I'm talking,
workout.
it was 97 degrees.
Yeah.
And there was every variety of Ariat Levi's jeans.
Tacovas is crushed.
God.
Tacovas were crushed.
Those boots, you can imagine the smell in everybody's house like just after you filled them with sweat. Like that's what flip flops are for.
But they were all wearing sundresses, which is cool.
Well, the
They
best
throw
part
the cowboy boots
was
in
to
there.
watch about an hour into it, and everybody's pretty sweaty, and to watch somebody walk about 100 yards,
Just take
in
them
a
off.
pair of those boots, and you saw the pain.
Well, I was in here about a week ago, Thursday.
Yeah.
Steel Pulse was playing out here.
Okay,
And I like to come in here when it's a show that I don't really want to spend $40. I don't even know what they cost anymore out here. If I don't want to spend it, I'll come in here and work.
sure.
I don't even have to open the window. I can hear everything.
Yeah.
Or go to the balcony. Like Becca took a little video of us.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
danced together
Absolutely.
100 yards away, which was
That
fun.
was
And
really awesome.
I felt your moves.
I love that video. I'll never lose it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
But I knew an impending storm was coming. That classic 7 p.m. storm.
Oh yeah.
And it was on my phone. I'm like, kind of like, okay, let's watch this all happen.
Yeah.
And I was getting after this tarpon painting in here, and sure enough, all of a sudden you hear the music stopping. You just see people running by my window. And then the people that didn't want to give up, they all went into cleats.
Yeah.
And when the cleats got filled up, they all came over here.
Yeah.
So they were looking at my window, knocking on my window, watching me paint. One guy goes, "Tarpon man, walking!" So there were about 20 beer cans all around here. after
We
that
need to
show.
post a picture. We need to show everybody what the amphitheater looks like.
The view.
It is
Our view, yeah.
fantastic. And they have an old train car
Yeah.
they brought in. They
Is
used
the whale
the green
still on
room. Yeah, the
Yeah.
whale. The
Okay.
whale's
Yeah.
over there.
We had to go there because cleats was closed.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Closed on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Nah.
I wonder if is that like kind of like a normal
Monday's usually the day, like restaurants and shit. Usually
Tuesday
in town.
they are closed on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see though some restaurants are closed on Tuesday now. It's starting to be like
It's always
Monday.
for me. It's been always Mondays where you don't
Yeah, you
know
would think.
what's going to be open or not. You know, but
Yeah.
Things are
Tuesday
changing.
seems. Why pick Tuesday like that?
Look at him, he's changing, Rick. You're gonna have to learn how to live with that.
I think
What movie?
Cable Guy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was actually looking up a quote from that. The
We
other
need to
day.
play some.
There's
some
a guy.
trivia.
There's a guy. Oh, it was this guy at work, a patient or something, but his
Yeah.
name was Steven. And I was like, Steven. And like one of the girls looked at me, she was like, yes.
You pay this time, I pay next time.
Yeah.
She's as clean as a racehorse.
Hey, I fixed my lisp.
Yeah.
Such a That's such a great movie, man. And dark and
I love it.
oh, it's so good.
Wait, what about Nicolas Cage's new movie? Who's gonna go see that?
Oh, were they?
Long Legs?
I don't know about
Oh, it's like, a horror
serial
movie,
killer.
serial killer.
I don't know about it.
Looks
I
really scary.
didn't know Nicolas Cage had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I saw the long legs things.
He is the serial.
Did either one of y'all watch it was Nicolas Cage and that
Yeah, the one
where he plays himself?
Yeah, it was
Dude,
fantastic.
it's actually like it seems
Oh,
like
it's
this
so
is
good.
It's actually really
Yeah, it's
fucking good.
fantastic.
No, it's
Uh,
He does such a good job of just playing like
It
yeah.
was. I will say this. Okay,
that's a
so
classic right there.
I didn't
Wow.
realize that.
Look how much
yeah.
more Mike is in that picture.
yeah.
Look how much skinnier I am. Look how much fatter
No,
Mike is.
The universe is like there must be a balance.
Mike lost 100 and gave it to me.
I didn't lose 100. I lost like 50.
Something happened.
You wouldn't let your children go anywhere near those people.
Just obviously for those that listen to this on the audio feed,
Yeah.
we're just going through old pictures on the Bailey Live
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah. I will say this though, and I want to share this. Becca and I went to see a movie at the movie theater.
I didn't.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
When did we stop doing that?
COVID.
No, it was COVID.
It was COVID.
I hadn't been in 3 years. It was so much fun.
I say it's COVID and
was
it's a combination
awesome.
of COVID and having the option of the entire world at your fingertips. Like you can
Yeah,
rent one for
you're
$20
right.
or
You're
whatever.
right.
But yes, every time
It's
like
so
I go to a
fun,
theater
dude.
now, it kind of comes back to like when you were a kid. Like it has become more of a treat, right?
Exactly.
Like it's like a special
Because
event.
you don't think
Yeah.
about it so often.
Yeah,
And also,
you're not just
chairs
going all the time.
recline.
Oh, dude.
Sometimes
God.
you have waiters.
Wow, dude.
We went and saw.
like fishing waders?
Waiters.
Oh, wait.
People, humans.
Sometimes you're in your waiters.
So
You got your waiters on.
If you go to a downtown theater, you might need that.
I took Piper to see Despicable Me the other day. I want to say it's the fourth movie we've taken her into a theater.
Yeah.
And every time she's gotten a little bit further, and this time we completed the movie.
Oh, wow.
Which is a huge feat.
Yeah.
Because they get distracted with the treats. Like if you're out at M&M's, then it becomes all about the M&M's. It's not even about the movie.
Oh, no.
There's no way my daughter can even be. I can't. There's like I can't even.
You're a year away.
Yeah,
I think I took her to see something at 2.5, and that was a complete disaster.
Yeah, there's no way her attention span. She's gonna
Would
like.
you change the channel?
20 minutes.
It wouldn't even be
Change
about.
channel.
Well, I might be going watch Mickey Mouse.
No, it was So
Yeah.
I wouldn't even try till you're 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not even.
Well, my daughter's a daredevil. She'd want to climb everything. She'd
Well,
want to be
so
running
yeah.
up and down the stairs
so
and climb.
we sat close to like where they had those piping and stuff,
Yeah.
and that's what she was doing. Like
Yeah.
it was at that point, I was like, "We're out of here. We're gone."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I got a good story though.
Yeah.
about this lady.
I want to hear it.
Despicable.
So we're starting the movie starting, and right at that point where the lights are going down,
Mm.
and the movie's starting. This lady walks in with like 7 kids, like a tribe of kids behind her. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. There's always the thing. There's always something. So she got out of her tickets and was doing this, and now they're assigned seating. You know, like that's just how it is now. At least in Citadel movie theater, it is.
There's assigned seating?
You buy an assigned seat.
Yeah, you pick your seat like in an airplane.
Oh, that's new to me.
It's nice to be
Yeah, I'm
honest
not
because
even
then you don't
Well,
have to
not all
like.
theaters are like
Yeah.
that, but this one is.
Citadel's like that, yeah.
It's like you're in my seat.
I love it. I love it. Like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, hey, I paid for that seat because that's where I wanted to sit for this movie.
Yeah.
See, I
It's
still like
better.
the old scramble. we gotta get in there.
I don't mind that either.
You sit in line.
I don't-
I'm gonna go get.
I like.
So you like Southwest Airlines? This is Delta.
Yeah,
So,
we're flying Delta.
she starts getting her seats out.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, she's gonna have to these kids are not all gonna be together. They're gonna be scrambled up.
Yeah.
So she had 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and she and one of them here, like all over the theater. I'm like, okay. So she sits them all down, and meanwhile the movie is starting. Piper is totally like locked in on what's going on because she loves looking at kids. Like kids like looking at kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, Piper, just. So 2 of them sit by us, and he starts immediately like, I like this movie. You know, like I'm like, oh my god. Piper's like, my daddy likes movies too. Like, no, Piper,
I got popcorn.
like Piper, let's just watch the movie. Let's
Don't talk to the little
We can
shitbird.
talk.
Just-
I'm like,
It's just
so what I realized, so they all sit down, and then she
that kid's got
disappears.
cooties.
So she comes up about 5 minutes later to the kids next. Y'all want? What do you want to drink? You want M&Ms or snow?
Now she's order.
She's taking orders. She did them 2 at a time. She'd get theirs, go back, come back. In the whole movie,
So Paul spent $500
so the whole movie, she is catering to these kids all over the place.
It's kind of sweet.
She'd sit down for like 10 minutes and then get. But what's funny is when funny stuff would happen, this kid up here would be like, "Hey, got it! This is funny, isn't it?" Like they would talk to each other. They were constantly yelling at each other throughout the whole movie.
Oh god.
And I'm texting Sarah. I go, I can't wait to tell you what's going on.
Sarah would not have.
Yeah.
Sarah, I know Sarah well enough to know that she would not have tolerated that on any level.
And what's funny is,
So maybe the movies is not a great.
but what's funny is all that happening is probably what kept Piper in her seat the whole time.
She was
actually,
there?
like
Yeah.
kind of into it to some degree.
Yeah, the movie's got a lot more interesting, Dad. Why haven't we been good?
I even told her this don't normally happen. There's like a whole sideshow going on.
Dude, we were so remember when they remade True Grit with
Man, the Coen brothers.
Yeah, that was
so-
awesome. I need to revisit that.
when
Yeah,
it
it's
when
really
it was in,
good.
when it was in theaters, I had gone back to North Carolina to visit my family. It was in the wintertime. I don't remember, but a snowstorm came through.
It already sounds like a good Western.
Yeah. So a snowstorm comes through, and it was a big one. It was like 10 inches plus. Like for North Carolina, it was a lot of snow, and so everything shut down. But the movie theater in downtown Morganton stayed open, and we were like, my dad and me and I think my sister. I don't remember. It was just about 4 of us. We're like, you can't do anything else. Everything's shut down.
Yeah.
You're locked in. We all have 4-wheel drive let's go to the movies. Let's go watch. Because we grew up. My dad's a John Wayne.
And
Like,
somehow the theaters are always open.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My dad's a John Wayne fanatic. We grew up watching the original True Grit. You know,
Right.
so, like, it was a family outing. We're like, all right, we're going to go. So we get in there.
Book, by the way.
And everybody, the place is filled, and everybody, everybody's in the same boat. We're just restless. There's nothing else to do, so everybody's going to see a movie. And right at the credits, like the very beginning of the movie, like somebody's got a laser pointer, and they're like going at the screen with a laser pointer. And everybody in the place, you hear everybody in the place did exactly what Paul did. They went, oh. And it was like, and if you're that guy with a laser pointer, you had to automatically be like, I guess I'm not cool, But like, you could feel everybody just deflated, except for one guy. One guy,
7-year-old probably.
I know it wasn't. It was like a teenager. But there was like one guy in the crowd that just had enough. Apparently the snow set him up. He stood up and was like, who the fuck is that? And then like this guy like stands up. He's like, "Who's got the laser? What are you gonna do?" And it turned into a fight. I'm talking. They were literally rolling down the stairs.
That he had it?
No, yeah, and then went at it with the guy that was mad at him. The poor people that work there. You got these teenagers in vests coming in there like they're gonna stop a brawl that's rolling down the stairs. It was they had turned all the lights on. It was the best beginning to a Western ever. It was like we had a nice public fight. And but yeah, it finally,
really a fight happened at the theater.
Fight happened at the theater, and
Modelo, please.
Okay.
and then they finally like they turned the lights back on. The guy's like, "All right, we're just gonna restart the movie." So they literally had to like rewind it and like restart the whole film. But yeah, that's probably the most disruptive movie experience I've ever.
That's amazing.
A literal fight. I mean, the guys. When I say they were rolling down the stairs, that's not an exaggeration. They were literally flopping.
I mean, the guy that has the laser pointer though should just be like, "I'm sorry, yeah, it was me."
Yeah.
Like, why should it become something?
Well, I think the guy that was yelling at him was a little drunk, and he was taking his role a little too seriously, and the other guy was.
As the
But you literally heard everybody in that theater when the fucking laser pointer started dancing around. They were like, "Oh god!"
Those were big, like 15 years ago. Remember airplanes?
Oh god! Yeah.
We snuck a bottle of wine in, and we're seeing Twister.
Oh,
which is like it's really good. And you're thinking this is going to be the loudest movie in the world. And I swear, Becca's like, "Can you get me a glass of wine?" And I'm sneaking down, trying to open this. I'm like,
"Why'd you open it before?"
I do this. I look back. I swear to God, there were 20 people. They were all just staring at me like this in the dark.
And then you're like, "What? You gonna be a narc?
What? You don't pull out the M&M bag?"
I'm looking at the solution right here. You just take the bag out of a box of wine and put the bag in the purse.
That's the way to do it.
And then just like lean a little spout out.
Slap that bag.
That's a solid move.
Yeah, the bag wine, man. I mean, why would you? I'll never forget Germs and Luke. We were running past them in the Everglades one time, and it's like shitty weather. They were back in this is back in the Ginu days.
Yeah.
Inside the Ginu, at the salt marsh, and we come cruising by them, and I look over, and so Germs is running the tiller like standing up.
Yeah.
There's a beanbag like at his feet level. And Luke's in the beanbag. Luke is reclining his head back. Germs is holding a bag of wine over his head. Luke's man in the spout. And he's like, just straight up, just taking it from the bag under full power.
That is a great picture. Where is that?
That's Gene's Hofbrau.
That is Gene's.
Oh God, there's our boy Eli.
Is that Mike?
Oh man,
That's Eli. Yeah,
that is Eli.
I thought that was Mike Bruner for a second.
Oh, the old Hofbrau. Anyway, yeah, good times and wine.
Good times and great oldies.
Ain't that right, Doug?
Man, that's right, man.
Well, I don't even know how long have we been going. Let's take a little break.
Yeah, I think we need a break. When we come back, we got a couple more topics we need to reset, but I think a break's appropriate.
I like it. Let's do it. I won't go anywhere now. Shoo!
So you were pushing stop over and over again. So
You gotta be 10% smarter than your equipment.
I was like, maybe you just push stop again and it goes off. I don't know. I was watching you kept pushing stop. All right, there we go. Fly fishing has always been a blood sport. Whether we like to acknowledge it or not, our impact on the animals that we chase can sometimes turn ugly. But what happens when, at the dock, or maybe the bar after, the guides turn ugly on one another? Fisticuffs. In this podcast, we will analyze what drives these men who chase the most challenging fish in the ocean, the tarpon. Is it ego? Is it skill? Is it a combination of both? And what would drive those men to go after each other? Obsession. Join us as we dive into the psychology behind the men who chase the masters of the ocean. Join us for Meet Me on the Gravel. That sounds like a damn fine podcast. I'm listening to that.
Damn fine podcast. Man.
I'm in.
Mike, what are you doing here?
I want to hear that one.
Hey, will you hit that magic button, Doug?
Yeah.
Please. I like that, Mike. I like it. We're gonna watch it. Everyone's gonna watch it. Yeah, you're good.
I do love those true crime podcasts. Though, like
Yeah.
when me and my wife were on our honeymoon across country, we were just listening to all kinds of shit. But there's a podcast. It's called Criminal, and it's out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
And that lady has the most NPR perfect podcast voice ever, like the host or whatever. But it's just all these, like, some of them are big crimes, and some of them are big, like, murders and stuff, and some of them are just petty or funny or whatever. But it was good. I'm like, I could listen to this shit all day.
Whatever happened to this? You remember the podcasts that were out there for a while? And there was one about the small town and the murder and everything. And
Oh, that was a Shit Town.
yeah,
And the town in Georgia. I listened to that one. That was like
amazing.
a one-off.
Town?
Yeah.
Shit Town.
And it was just, the guy was investigating this murder, but then the guy he's using as his main source of
It was
intel kills
incredible.
himself, and then it's like, it's wild, dude. It's so good. And it doesn't get anywhere. That's what's even worse.
I feel like
about
it was NPR or somebody, or
But yeah, that guy was kind of the same line.
that was amazing.
Yeah, Shit Town. That was the name of it.
It was a good one.
It was wild, man.
Well, boys, we got just a subject to bring up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lawn talk.
Oh, yeah. I could talk. You want to talk about lawns? I got you. All right.
Doug, you get yours. Well, where you live now, you have a lawn.
Yeah, I pay someone.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
In your old place, you did too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
When's the last time when I brought this up? Honestly, I wanted to talk about it for my own reasons.
Right.
But I also thought, I bet Doug hadn't mowed a lawn in 20 years is my guess.
That's not fair.
20?
No, that's not right at all. Because when we first moved in that house on Yale, I was mowing that lawn.
Okay.
Paul Rich came and stole my lawnmower.
I think that's say Paul Rich came and mowed my lawn.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
So, I just didn't have time for it.
Okay.
And I had a massive chinch bug problem.
A what?
Chinch bug.
Oh, speaking of, we're going to talk about Sturgill's new album.
Chinch bug. Those little
What
fuckers
the
can eat a
hell's
lot of
chinch
grass.
bug?
I didn't know he had a new album.
What?
I didn't know Sturgill had a new album
It's
either.
called Johnny Blue Skies.
Well, shit.
Is it good?
He is Johnny. Like, it's named, he has renamed himself.
Oh, come
But
on.
it also
If
says,
I was going to name myself
says
something, I
Sturgill
think
in
I would
the
go
line. He's
more
just-
Johnny Blue Skies.
it's like, he's not really, anyway.
Sounds like a
This ain't like-
redneck
Let's go
mafia
back, let's go
member.
back.
So this ain't like that Garth Brooks. What was that guy? What was his alter
Chris
ego?
Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
Hey, check out Johnny Blue Sky.
He just had like a bad emo
Dude,
haircut.
this album it's a heartbreaker. Like, it's got a lot of heartbreak in it, but it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. It's
All
good.
right. Anyway, we got a little sideways there.
There's clearly a song that when he lived on Sullivan's Island, the song's about Sullivan's Island.
How can you tell?
Let's listen to it. You
All
want
right,
to do it?
let's do it.
Let's just do a review. You want to just rock the
Okay.
whole song?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, I mean, I don't. Yeah, why
We're
not?
brave.
Okay. Can I make comments?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Now, I like the song.
Is this
Everyone
like
I play music with likes the song, but Sarah was like, "This song's stupid."
is this like a takeoff on Redheaded Stranger?
No.
Okay. That sounds
Got a little
sad.
honky tonk
Yeah.
on it. I like that. That's got a little neon light
It's
vibe.
got a little giddy up.
So makes you want to get a 6-pack or have an umbrella.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I've been feeling like a piece of rice paper. Think I moved to an island, turn into vapor. Get a scooter in a house on a hill. Fish all day just to fill up the grill.
Not from that hill, you want.
One's making chocolate milk and potatoes. My days at
You gotta get close to the water, Sturgill. I don't know if they know how fishing
Where
works.
to the world, screaming hasta luego. Everybody back home to see where the hell did he go?
They speak Spanish, man. Where are you?
Throw the paddle away.
Oh, yeah.
Offer my heart up to the break in the sway.
This made you cry?
Wake up every day in the sun. Kick off my flip flops and go for a run. Gonna hop on my scooter, go down to the store. When people say that you hear my sonata anymore. With the wind in my hair, I'm gonna scooter my blues away.
I love that he's just like reading through his daily schedule.
You say scooter? He's gonna scooter his blues away?
Yeah. You ever been sat on a scooter?
First time
It's
you
fun.
saw me.
I have not. Granted, it's not my main mode of transportation. I feel like if you got to that point, you might be sat on a
You
scooter.
probably like rollerblading too.
We'll call that to re-listen to it. Give you a little vibe to it, though.
I feel like the only time you get sat on a scooter is,
my blues
I
away.
mean,
I feel like if you have to drive a scooter, like they take your license away and that's all you got left.
Now, is
you're
that like
sat
a
on
moped?
scooter.
Is a moped a scooter?
Depends on where you are, but yeah.
What do they ride in Italy? They're like chav.
That's a Vespa's.
That's a scooter.
It's a scooter. All of them are scooters.
Yeah.
And I've had no bad times on a
To
scooter.
me, a moped is a scooter.
Yeah, same thing. Scooter, moped.
That's a razor.
A what?
A
Those are
razor?
those 2-wheel things that kids like. The
Oh.
lithium batteries.
Wait, what's up with the people riding around that one wheel?
Oh, I saw some guy like putting his life in
yeah.
his hands, going
Yeah.
down the side of the road in one of those. I was like,
in the 1-wheel thing?
yeah. I'm like, bud, like you're one pebble
What do they
away from
call
Yeah,
just
that's
taking a
true, too.
digger in front of a car that's
What
trying
are
to
they
pass
called
you.
that?
Unicycle.
What if I was like, I'm gonna get on my
They're called-
unicycle.
They're called
Hit a fucking pebble a day.
the.
I got the blues.
You're
on my unicycle.
your real estate asshole like this. They should be called gentrificicles.
What?
Gentrificicles. Because when you see one of those in your neighborhood, your property
What if
tax
you saw-
just went through the fucking
No,
roof.
seriously, what if you saw Sturgill riding down the road on a unicycle crying?
Would you pull up and be like,
Hey,
roll the window down?
You all right, buddy?
Big Stew!
Big Stu.
Oh, you doing all right,
Hey, man, you need a hug?
You look awfully sad.
You get a DUI.
I've started like getting like not annoyed, but like my once again my ADD kicks in a lot now. And if you ever just see me out walking in
Yeah.
public, anybody that ever meets me, don't take any offense. I'm generally walking with a whole stream of consciousness
You have
going
like
on.
a tunnel. That's,
I'm just on autopilot and I'm thinking about 10 different things. But when people approach me for money and stuff like at gas stations, like it helps out, and sometimes it probably makes me seem like a real ass because like last night we stopped at a gas station on the way home,
Doug's got the
and this dude was just like, "Hey man, think you can buy me a coffee or something?" I heard like the last word of that sentence, and I turned around, I was like, "No." Just when I got done, I was like, "Well, that was a little harder than it needed to be."
But in your mind, he was like asking you if you want a coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I answered to him like he asked me if I wanted something. I was just like, no.
Earbuds in, and people say, you go,
See, that's why you do that?
Yeah.
I'm on a Zoom call. Oh, you don't know what that is? No, yeah.
it's a Zoom.
call.
Yeah.
So- Can I help you? No, okay.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Poor Sturgill.
Poor
Doug,
Sturgill.
you still tickled over there?
Poor Stu.
He just Scooter and his blues
Yeah.
away. So.
Poor millionaire man who's just changed his name
I'm
for
on
his
the kickoff
ninth album or how many?
off.
But you can hear the Sullivan's Island of that song.
I can hear the
He lived
pain
like
in
four
him,
3 years.
Considering the fact that it costs about $2 million to even smell Sullivan's Island, I'm really feeling his pain.
I remember like
he was a renter.
Yeah, he was a
I remember seeing him on Saturday Night Live quite a few years back before he was kind of a big name, and he did a set on Saturday Night Live and then just smashed the shit out of his guitar on stage. Like he just got all worked up, like he did a little solo, like took the thing, and everybody's like he was a country western artist, whatever, and he like got all like hot and bothered, went through a very good guitar solo, like just tore the strings off the guitar, took it off his neck and started bash. I mean, like not like I'm having a good time, like with anger in his eyes, like just destroying.
some lady in the back named Linda going, "Let it out, Steve!"
And you could almost feel like you just know everybody there was like that. I thought he was a country artist. He just destroyed half our stage with his guitar.
Are we supposed to be having fun?
He looked mad. He was just like,
So I think
Move to Charleston.
Remember the last rock
Don't,
album we had when
please don't.
COVID happened? It was everyone was like, "What is this?" Like it was a really weird album. It had
we did that whole psychedelic
Yeah,
thing.
So
Yeah.
this album is where you take 20% of that, mash it with like singer-songwriter stuff, and then 30% like country. It's kind of well-rounded.
Well,
Well, I love that he's made a
he's not boring.
Yeah, he's made an LSD album, and he also made "Cutting Grass" was one of his last big albums, which was
That
mostly
was
old
amazing.
bluegrass covers, which was
That was amazing.
badass. I mean, the guy's got range. You got to give him that.
I like the album though. It's cool.
LSD.
That's why it's psychedelic LSD.
Yeah, old Southern culture. They want to do an album review, and I'm going to do an illustration for that. So
I think that's awesome.
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Something to do. So yeah, hey, let's see if I got some more little ideas, little thoughts.
Well, we never finished the first
Long
one. We
talk.
literally
Long talk.
yeah, we never even got into the long talk.
That's the classic story. Like I've gone through show notes before, but like
we didn't
we
talk about
never
it.
did that. We never did that. We never did that.
And you probably brought it up, and then we squirrel
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
case. Yeah.
That I'm dealing with long. This fits under long talk.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Squirrels are the worst.
I've gone through 3 bird feeders
Oh, come on.
because I can't beat these fucking squirrels, man.
Wait,
Dude,
wait, the big heavy bird feeders, like the stone
I've
ones?
got the one where it'll kind of go up and down because the squirrels get on, they freak out. But the problem with that one is you put the bird seed in the top, it gets water in it, and it makes all the bird seed gross and maggots get in it.
Paul comes out one morning. There's
I'll tell you the answer.
Seriously,
Yeah,
that is what's happening.
I'll tell you the answer, and it's the best
It's like
answer
6
because it's way
slugs.
more fun. Is a high-powered pellet rifle.
Oh, man.
They're subsonic. Can't hear it. Neighbors ain't gonna know. It's gonna be a click.
Yeah,
And that's a dead squirrel.
Squirrels don't taste bad.
I would in the south. In the south, you don't want to eat them until after you get some cold weather. They got a parasite lives
They got
under
a
their
thing.
skin. Yeah, it's better to do it when it's cold out. But like in North Carolina, we say after the first frost. The first frost here is in damn February.
That
But
might be what's wrong with me because I
But-
had some squirrel chili one time and it was.
I love squirrel, but
That's it.
we always
What's
ate them in
wrong
cold
with it?
weather. We didn't like
Okay.
eating them hot.
Yeah.
But either way,
Well, let me tell you what
that was
I'm
Trey Brown's solution. He kept one loaded and locked like beside his back door, and you'd be hanging out with Trey, and he'd be talking like, "Yeah, man, we were just hanging there." You're like, "Hold on a minute." He'd just look out the window, and he'd slide out the door. But
Well, let me tell you part B to that little sidetrack we took from Lawn Talk. But we're still in the umbrella.
we're
This
in
is
the
Lawn
umbrella.
Talk.
Squirrels live in your yard.
So, when's the last time y'all played with a slingshot?
Ooh.
Recently,
The one that's
actually,
got like the
Yes.
forearm
Oh,
brace
I've got
and
the
you really
real
crank
thing.
back on.
In
You
the-
got the real
in the
deal.
Keys, Germs had one with these little like pea things, like you could buy
Yeah, like ball
projectiles.
bearings.
Yeah, but they're like I don't know what they are, but they're not metal.
They're
But
clay.
yeah,
That's
clay.
what I've got.
Yeah. Germs had a pack of those. We were
Yeah.
target shooting at the
Oh, yeah.
Keys house, like skipping them all.
Dude,
like,
you
shooting
can
beer
straight up
cans.
kill somebody.
So that's what I've got. I've got
Yeah.
the slingshot with the clay because they disintegrate.
Yeah.
You have to worry about a bunch of metal shit in your yard. And then I have a blast. I've never hit
No.
one. I think I have hit one, but I don't necessarily want to kill the thing, but I want to scare the shit out of her, pop it good where it climbs up that tree and knows it's never going to come.
Oh, you hit that thing in the head, he's dead.
Yeah, you just want to really name it. Sure. Now, let me just paint a scenario. You misfire one day. You clip somebody's kid. and you end up in jail.
Well, he's got
over
fence
it.
around his yard.
Oh,
He-
so you
yeah,
got
it would have to be
backstop.
I'm at the level at the bird feeder.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Well, and even if you were, like, by the time, it would lose so much momentum once it gets over the fence, the arc, it wouldn't even
And
hurt.
it's
It just,
clay. So if I thought about all these things,
Sure.
and if it does go over the fence,
Responsible
by the time
sportsman
it goes
would.
300 feet, it's nothing.
it's
anymore.
fun.
Sure.
Unless it hits some kid's eye.
Yeah, well, if they happen to be looking up,
Wow.
and at which point you should just go also play the
Well,
lottery because the
I'm
odds of
trying
that.
You went straight to the smallest thing on
Well,
first
I'm
body.
not going for the home run.
It hit
here.
the
I'm going for
eye.
The squirrels of the bird feeder. So
Oh.
I feel like I'm safe.
What's wrong with Paul? He took out the neighbor's kid's eye.
He's in jail now.
When I was a kid, so we lived in a log cabin, and I don't know what they treat those logs with.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
A log cabin?
Yeah, my parents
Was it-
still live in it.
What is it called when they had to seal the gaps?
Well, that's chinking.
Chinking.
Are these? But this was one of those. This was one of those like. That comes from a company, so the logs were tongue and grooved.
I thought they come
So-
from trees.
Well, they do that first.
How
They
far
have to
did you
grow
have to go
first.
for water every morning?
But we had plumbing.
Oh well.
But I don't know what they. I don't know what
down
they,
by the river getting water.
I don't know what they treated the damn
No.
logs with. But squirrels like to chew on the logs. Is the moral of the story. I don't know why they chew. Like the ends are all like that on the sides. So like they would just gnaw the shit out, and it drove my dad nuts. Didn't hurt the house at all, but
But it's
just
still just annoying.
pissed him off.
Squirrels
So
were eating our house.
I had a single action when I was 14. I got my first gun, which was, and by I got my first gun, it was mine, quote
Yeah,
unquote, but
yeah.
it lived in my dad's gun area,
Sure.
But it was a break action, single shot, 20 gauge Ithaca, like
Okay.
just straightforward, just
Yeah.
a barrel with a trigger, basically. And my dad would he'd let me have the gun, and he'd give me one shell at a time. And he would say, "All right, I'll give you $1 a squirrel." And after it got cold, I'd just go sit out back in the backyard and just whomp these squirrels. And I killed a shit ton of squirrels. My grandma loved to eat them, so we'd skin them out, take them to her, and she'd cook them up. They didn't go to waste. But I spent my whole childhood just killing squirrels.
That's amazing.
How many do you think you got under your belt?
I mean, I don't know.
300?
No. I mean, because it was we didn't have that much property. We had like 2 acres or
Okay.
something.
What y'all
And so-
do when the Indians came?
I don't know. I probably killed like 10 a year for like 10 years.
That for like a minute.
Maybe 100 squirrels out of my dad's backyard, but like maybe
Okay.
say 8 to 10 a
But when you're
year.
a kid, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, and like I said, we waited till it got cold enough to kill them because we were going to eat them. So like I would sit in one day. I'd kill 8 in a day,
Yeah.
and then after
Yeah.
that, squirrels are hard to find because it's only 2 acres. You killed 8 squirrels. There ain't that many damn
Yeah.
squirrels left.
Did you make your own fire or just
Actually, funny story. We did heat our house with a wood stove.
Oh yeah.
And-
we do that now. Wow.
And what we had, here's the shit part of that. So we had a central air. We had air conditioning
Yeah.
with a heat pack, and we had a big gas tank outside us. We weren't on a county line or a whatever gas line. And so my dad always said, we can't afford to heat the house. We got to do wood. So
Yeah.
my entire, starting about August, we would go out and we'd have friends that were clearing land or whatever. They'd say, all right, you come get whatever you can get off. So we'd go cut trees up, haul them back to the house. And then starting in August, I would start splitting and stacking, and we'd rotate cords to get them, the green cords and the dry cords and whatever.
Yeah.
And we burned wood, and it was my job. Like from the time I could swing them all, that's what I did.
How often did y'all go and visit?
We lived in town. But anyway, the shittiest part about that is when I moved out of my house at 19 to go to college, I transferred from the community colleges out. I transferred to College Charleston. I went home that first winter to like go visit, and the house was warm, but the fireplace wasn't on. I was like,
What's going on?
and my dad's like, yeah, it turned out I can't afford it. I was like, you son of a bitch. I cut wood from the time I was like literally like 10 years old. I've done nothing but cut and stack wood. As soon as I'm out of the house, it's like, nah, pay the bill, pay the gas man. We ain't doing that shit.
Those things warm a house though. Those wood burning stoves.
They only warmed like
well.
the way our house was. Though the wood burning stove was in the living room,
are awesome.
and we had like a loft. So like
Yeah.
the main part of our house was like one big open space, and there's like a loft which is our living room den, and then there was like a sitting room, formal living room, and then the kitchen. All that was in one big space. And then the bedrooms were off to the side. My parents' bedroom was upstairs off to the side, so they got plenty of heat up there because the way heat works. We were downstairs, so we had little space heaters, and like you have to get up in the morning. I'd get up in the morning after running. We had a space heater in the bathroom. One of us would run into the bathroom, turn it on, and run back to your room and hide out until the bathroom warmed up so you could go take a shower. But,
I was in this house townhome thing in Wyoming for about a year, so I lived there for one winter. And we had a wood burning stove. Yeah, we had a heater too, but we just kind of liked doing the wood burning stove.
Yeah, it's cool.
A lot. Yeah, and it was so. And I was in a little loft, like above the living room in the loft. It was so hot.
Oh yeah,
I fucking hate being hot. So literally, at 15 degrees outside, I'd open the window. And sometimes you're like, why is it so fucking cold in here? This thing, I'd accidentally leave it open all day long.
Oh, wow. Because it's not like you sweat too much.
Yeah.
So, I'd sleep at night, though, with that window open.
Oh, yeah. That'd be nice.
I'd mean to close it during the day, but sometimes I'd leave it open anyway.
Yeah.
So, 20 degrees outside, old Bucket's got the window open.
Yeah.
I will say though, to this day, an axe or a maul, it's like muscle memory. I can still. It's imagine like a wood splitter. I guess some people call them. They're just like the real heavy. Looks like a sledgehammer with a point on it.
To get started.
We always called those a maul. My dad had one.
People would hammer those into the wood, right?
Well, yeah, they're just weighted so that you don't have to use as much back force to drive. You really just let the head of the thing.
Yeah.
My dad had one we called the Red Devil, and it was literally a piece of steel pipe welded to the head of a maul. I think had to weigh like 30 pounds.
Sure.
And if you just get it up over your head and just drop it, it would split about anything, But to this day, you hand me a maul or an axe, and I can still. It's like ingrained in the back of my lizard brain. Like I can pick it up, I can split that thing on 3 ways. Yeah,
you know what you're doing.
You know how to read the grain, but there's your spot right there.
2-mile walk to school.
No, I didn't have to do that. I did have to walk uphill both ways, though. I did.
Really?
My bus stop was at the road, and there was a hill between the roads. So technically speaking, I walked uphill both ways.
Did you have shoes?
I did. Good ones. My parents bought me nice shoes.
You know something I forgot?
All that money they saved on gas bills.
I always remember this.
That's good.
Growing up, we had lightning bugs. Whatever happened to lightning bugs?
Mosquito.
Light pollution.
Is that what? Really?
I've heard that it's all the mosquito spray they spray all over the place.
Pesticides, and then
you never see them anymore.
Well, partially too, like around cities, the reason you never really see them around cities is the lights. If it's too bright, they're doing that to breed, and they can't communicate with each other if it's too ambient, little brightness. Yeah, that's why you only ever really see them in sticks anyway. But I have heard a lot about. Well, not just mosquitoes, but like what they spray on crops out in rural areas and all that.
I've heard the towns that have the blanket, like mosquito. Some towns they spray.
They do it here,
And I've heard those towns that don't really see lightning bugs anymore. They're talking about.
That was some cool shit when we were little.
When you go to PA up in Pennsylvania to see Sarah's dad, you see it everywhere.
It was incredible.
It always trips me. North Carolina, same thing. It's not real agricultural up there, and you go up there, my parents' house, and they're just. I saw one like we were driving or something. I was up there not long ago, and I saw one. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" I was like, "Oh yeah, lightning bugs exist." I forgot that these things exist.
So did the cicada thing ever happen? I don't feel like that ever happened here, but
no. Well, I mean, they're all over here, but they're here every year. I don't know about that big.
But I never saw like I never really saw footage of people being like just totally
inundated with them.
You think redfish eat them?
They would. I guarantee.
I mean, why wouldn't they?
They eat a gurgler. Why wouldn't they eat a cicada? It's getting all crazy.
Yeah. I think that happens when we're not even looking.
Probably. Well, I wonder how many cicadas hit. You're talking about like it needs to be the right time.
Salt water, they probably avoid that.
You know, I forgot to let it out of the bag. Y'all just keep on talking.
What is it?
I gotta find it.
Yeah, he just cleaned his office. Now he don't know where nothing is.
Well, I gotta use the whiz.
He's digging in the trash, so that's not a good sign.
Yeah. Oh! You throw this away. I forgot I had them in the bag that I threw away.
I just want y'all to know that you couldn't see off camera. Paul just dug this bag of gummy bears out of the car.
I realized that I had them in there.
Well, I do like gummy bears. It's more of that ASMR for you folks.
So I'll wait till Doug gets here to bring up my next little
We
fun
never even
topic.
got into lawn talk. You realize we did, other than squirrels, we didn't talk a damn thing about lawns.
Nothing. So Doug can't even talk about it because he don't really do lawn. But what I've come to realize my whole life, I've hated doing lawns. As a kid, I'm talking about like from kid days.
Yeah.
Because your dad makes you mow the lawn.
Yeah, yeah.
So you kind of hate it with that reason. And then you go through your life in your 20s and you drive through neighborhoods and you see the dad out there going, oh, yeah, mow the lawn, I love to mow the lawn. You know, you kind of see that day and you're like, why the fuck is he like mowing the lawn?
Then you have a kid.
Then you have a kid. Then you have the kid. And, you know, you need these little respites. You need these little just chunks of time that I like to call it a respite because I don't really need a break from Piper.
Yeah.
But to know that I can go do something that's good for my family, good for our house,
Necessary.
What's this?
but also have a little break from it.
Well, she's not allowed to be near
And
you.
I moved.
Dangerous.
I moved the shit out of the lawn. And actually, because we did do a big landscape project in the backyard a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Once you start paying for grass,
Yeah.
you start realizing that you want to actually take care of it and make it look good, and because now it's part of your house. Like,
Wow.
so in the last couple of years, I have enjoyed to some degree getting rid of weeds, mowing lawns, making the place look good. Like your old backyard on
Yeah.
James Island, like that
That's
yard
amazing.
was awesome.
I said for me, and I guess Paul, Doug, maybe. Well,
Yeah.
your job's a little different, but like, so for me, my job, I go to work. The best case scenario when I leave work is that nobody died, right?
Yeah.
Like in most cases, other
Me
than like
too.
maybe somebody slightly improving some measurement of their health. In most cases, if I go to work and everybody's pretty much the way I left them, I leave them pretty much the way I found them.
That's a good day.
It's been a good day, right? And that doesn't give you much to go on as far as like satisfaction in your work, right? Like, I mean, like, oh, I did a million things today
You're maintaining.
exactly. Like I did a million things that ensured that happened, but visually and like what you can look at and see, what did I do today? Not much there. Whereas I go out for an hour or two and mow my yard and trim and do the weeds and do all the things. And you get to step back and crack a beer and you look at it and you're like, look what I just did. Like, look.
You got to be before and after.
Sure.
Yeah, you get a little visual boost there.
Let me ask y'all, what do you know about Haribo gummy bears?
We've gone through this before.
Yeah, the sugar-free reviews online. Have you ever read that?
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
But there's that other brand that makes them that you don't like. Or
Black Forest, can't stand them. But what do you think?
Gummy bears, there are good and bad gummy bears for sure.
Yeah, what do you think
yeah.
is the least favorite color?
They're all the same, I think.
The clear one.
You
I like
think
the
that's
clear
the
one.
least? That's my favorite. The green. And do you know what flavor it is?
Strawberry.
The same flavor as all of them.
Because you told me this a year ago. You taught me this.
well,
Why would they make strawberry cake?
So-
I didn't know it until you taught this to me a year ago.
It's amazing. And it's strawberry.
I would have thought it was lime.
I feel like they are all the same flavor.
These are best served cold. You put them in the freezer.
You freeze them?
I freeze them.
Mm.
The refrigerator works too sometimes. But
And that is strawberry.
wait,
I got
Schnozberry tastes like schnozberry.
I got another hot, just sports Paul Puckett opinion
okay,
Hit it.
take, if you will.
all right.
It's still happening. The person that gets online, whether they're about to do it or have been doing it, that announce they're taking a break from social media.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite. I just had to use this one last time to let you know that I'm not going to be using it anymore.
I'm going to be signing off now.
Some girl, and I follow a lot of people that follow my art. Like I'll see someone following me, so
Yeah.
I'll follow them back. So
Sure.
I mean,
Well, that's how the algorithm works. Like, the more people you follow,
yeah. So I follow back.
Mm.
She posted in the mirror. In the mirror, you see her holding the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sending this from a Buc-ee's bathroom. I know that a lot of y'all have been wondering where I've been.
I've been in this Buc-ee's bathroom.
I decided, and she was a good-looking lady. Like there's nothing like kind of Buc-ee's.
It was the hottest thing in Buc-ee's ever.
But the whole idea that she's tapping back into her social media really briefly, because she said, I'm going to check back out, but I want to make sure everyone knows I'm still alive and doing well. And best love to y'all, but I'm going to keep going on my social media break.
Thank God, because Betty from Bucky's, I don't know what I would have done.
The social media break thing just fucking, you don't have to tell anyone you're doing it. It's like they're not taking a break because they're telling you they're taking a break.
Well, my wife, when I left to come over here tonight, so like I said, I fished yesterday. Which basically, if I do anything in the afternoon, it means my wife has gotten
She's kind of gone 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, and my wife is like soloing bedtime. She's soloing dinner time. She's soloing. It's a big deal. It's not a little like thing. So, and I don't do it often, but this was
more of a guilt thing more than it is really her physically doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, well, I mean, sometimes that she's 2-year-old. Sometimes it is a pain in the ass physically, but either way. So, like when I was leaving here, she was just like faux giving me a hard time. Like she wasn't really giving me a hard time. Like
you could feel it. Though.
Yeah. But she was like. She wanted me to like, she knew she had the leverage and she wanted to make it sting a little bit, even though I know she really doesn't care and she loves that I get to do these things. But like I said, something like, I was like, all right, well, I love you. I got to go. She goes, you don't love me. I was like, well, I'm going. She goes, I got to record a podcast. She goes, because you think people actually give a shit what you have to say. And I went like, I'm just going to go hang out with my friends. Can we just word it that way?
That is what this is.
Yeah. But it's the same thing with social media. Is like, we forget that like, while there's some catharticness about us being able to put out things in life, and you get that feedback and all that stuff, I get it. But at the end of the day, none of us really give a fuck about.
I think we treat this. I'm not going to go so far as calling it an art, but sometimes it feels like it because we do create things like tonight's show is kind of artless to some degree. But a lot of the times, I would say,
don't forget about Fred.
Well. Yeah, totally. Like,
literally.
I think what we do in this 2 to 2.5 hours is important.
I think it's very important. Yeah.
I think it's important for you. I think we get something out of it, especially when we get creative.
Lost the camera.
Especially when we get creative and do some fun things. Such as coming up with bits and fake characters.
And that's always been my favorite part of this. Because we did this for years. Like, we talk about this all the time ad nauseum, so I'm sorry if we do it again. But we did this before this show was ever a thing. We did this for years, decades, some of us, at the shop, like these characters and these scenarios. And I'm like, we've done all this.
Yeah.
To the nth degree. It just didn't record it. And now we have, over the past, how many years we've been doing this? 70 episodes almost now. We have recorded that. Like, we've taken those things that were like, so like, the stupid little podcast intro we did, all the characters we've created, all the commercials we made, all that shit was just, we have the leverage and the ability to put it out into the world. Does the world care?
No.
Probably not.
She's right.
But yeah.
Have we really done more episodes than we have listeners?
But I think we can all agree if we had 3 listeners, we'd still do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But that's what I said. Like, that's why I immediately pivoted. I was like, okay, so I'm going to hang out with my friends. That's what I'm going to go do. And we're going to record a podcast.
It's easier tonight. You finally admitted that.
She got her barb in. It's fine. And she deserves that barb. It is what it is. Yeah. It's part of the trade-off of being a parent, right? Like, you give some to take some.
True.
Well, do we have another fly line, date line?
Yeah, I got another podcast. There's all these podcasts popping up all the time, man. You just gotta stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Let me see which one we want to do next. All right, I got it.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Excuse me. I had something rough for lunch.
You've practiced all year. You've spent countless hours in your backyard, the neighbor's yard, the baseball diamond down the street. Your cast is perfect. The fish comes in on a line. The guide sees him first, of course, but you get him not long after. The fly, the delivery, the wind, it all checks. But the fish doesn't eat. It must be the rod. It can't be your cast or the strip or the way you read the fish's body language. No. The rod, the reel, the line, the cast, the leader, maybe the fly. I know the guy tied it just this morning and he caught 7 fish on it yesterday, but are they really feeling chartreuse this morning? Today, on this podcast, we're going to dive into the fact that sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's the gear. Sometimes, is it the shoes?
Where's my rock?
Join us weekly, every night.
That's good stuff.
What's the name of it?
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Is it the shoes? But I meant to say must be the shoes, like the Vital line.
What's the name of the show?
That was the name of the show. Is it the shoes?
Like send to the hourglass.
Well, the name of the show I originally came up with was "Must Be the Shoes," like Dickie V. You know, like when he was like, "It must be the shoes, baby." You know, like that's where that came from. But then I ended up with "Is it the shoes?" because I'm an idiot and I don't have any of this written down. That was all ad lib.
No, it's awesome.
So
All right,
okay,
we're gonna
so
come back. We're stopping this. Let's come back with another one.
I have an idea too. Though, since we're doing this format now, I think it'd be fun for any of our listeners. Send us a picture. Okay, it could be. I'm going to lay this out for y'all. You choose. It could be like the smallest fish you're the most proud of, or
now
your
we have the ability to
biggest
show
fish,
fishing.
or your most unusual.
Are we making fun of them, or what are we gonna do?
Who knows?
Maybe.
We're just going to talk about it.
That has to be the thing. It's like
just
they get to send us the
talking
picture,
about
but they don't get to pick what we
Yeah,
do with
I've
it.
got it.
That's right. That's right.
We
That's
give
right.
you one whole segment.
Okay.
They Venmo us $20 to blast their buddy in a.
Oh yes! Send us
everybody's
the
got a
picture
picture
of your
with a
buddy's
$20.
fish.
$20
I like
for us to
it.
just shred
I like
their
it.
photo.
Yeah.
Shred it.
Yes.
Shred it.
Oh man,
I
that's
mean,
fucking right. That
And that'll
down.
pay for beer.
Oh, yeah.
oh, dude, done.
That's
Done.
gold, Paul.
Yeah.
That's
well,
gold. Give us $20.
All right, so that's official.
All right, I'm gonna go pee
Yeah.
and then.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
love
So the only
that.
ones I have left, unless you guys come up with some other ones, I have the Dead or Alive bait guy. Which
Oh, we're still recording.
Yeah.
are we?
Oh yeah.
I'm just walking around talking about shit. All right. Yeah. I thought you had
All right. 1, 2, 3, off.
Technology. It's progressed at a pace unnerving to some and unsettling at best to humanity as a whole. No other place has it touched more than the world of fly fishing, where now a man, woman, and child can have the perfectly tapered leader without ever tying a knot. In fact, one could travel the world, catch any fish on your bucket list or your friend's bucket list, and you could do it without ever knowing more than perhaps one knot. Largemouth bass. Say a clinch knot. Simple fisherman's knot. But then there are those that disagree with this approach. There are those that see it as cheating or somehow lessening the experience. To delve into this topic, join us tonight and every night for the new podcast from NPR Radio, Knots Are Hard. You can never be in the
Oh,
That sounds like a really boring podcast.
that old hitch knot.
Speaking of knots, though, like the little, have y'all seen those
Baby,
Millhouse updates that Andy's been doing with the tarpon leader stuff?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Like, I mean,
Short things.
Yeah.
so yeah, he does like these little shorts, but he's been doing like these little tarpon leader knot, tips and
Clinics.
tricks kind of
Yeah.
things.
Mm.
And most of it's stuff that most guys that do it any regularly know. But like, there were a couple little things like I've always hated trying to straighten leader material, to get them into little leader straightener tubes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was talking about, I was like, yeah, he goes, well, and something I never thought of was he ties his leader between like two trees real tight. He said, I'll leave it out there for like a week, just stretched between two trees and then
Like
come
takes
back
it off the spool.
off the spool, ties it between two trees real tight and leaves it for like a week. And then comes back and cuts it down and it's perfectly straight. And then you could just chomp. Well, you can hang. I mean, it's under a tree. You could be in the.
You know what? I got two
And none of
words.
us are
I like the
IGFA
idea.
fishing. Yeah.
I got 2 words for Andy Mill. Straight 60. That's it.
He probably don't even know what those two words mean.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I'll tell you, we did Franciscan and Caravelle, and those
Yeah.
things saw through. I mean, it's just crazy.
Oh, yeah, they do now.
Well, I mean, there's a big difference. Like if you if you want to actually land them versus But even at 60, like I figure in my head, I envisioned like I got plenty of trees to choose from, but I'm gonna tie up 40, 50, 60 like all together in like a line, like mark them with masking tape so I know which one's which when I come back. And then then just cut them down and just clip into my sections.
There's nothing cooler than looking at those old 70s, 80s, even 90s, the stretcher boxes.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s, they
super
became
impractical,
cool,
but yeah.
man.
In the 90s,
So
they
cool.
were like, made it like
Yeah.
cloth and like kind of fancy, like the old wooden ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were so cool. I know.
Like seeing those old photos of like Stu App and all those
Mhm.
guys holding those old.
So cool.
I like that, but
Bill Bishop has the coolest book. I think it's called it's like Rolling Tarpon or
Yeah.
something. It's there's
All
so
those
much
old
stuff.
stories.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Where like the Dolphins led that tarpon. through that
through that
tube or whatever.
Mosquito Lagoon.
They'd been fighting that fish for like 8-10 hours.
On like 30.
And the Dolphins took over.
No, it was 8. It was 8 pounds.
Yeah.
That was
And the
insane.
Dolphins took that tarpon, like said, "Come on with us."
I'm
They
sure
cut
that
him
tarpon's
off.
fine.
I'm sure he might be.
He might be.
Yeah.
You never know.
well, I'm gonna use PVC pipe and just put them
Yeah.
in a little PVC
Yeah.
tube because I love those wooden boxes. Hey, but getting one is, and then the other thing too is like, I don't know, it's not the same game as it was in the 60s, 70s where there were only 5 flies that you were, what I'm saying? Like you may change
Cockroach,
every-
flying bunch.
Yeah.
You may redo your fly 10 times during a day, like, and there's just no way to prep for that like that. But I have one now, but like just a little 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch PVC pipe with caps on each end, and you just stick them down there.
That's pretty cool.
So
You just write 60 or 40 on that tube, and then the tube's like, I got that big hatch. Like I'm looking at my boat right now. I got that big hatch. I can just throw those down in there, and then when you need a new, bite heavy, just pull up. Boom, and
That's a really
pull
good
one out.
idea.
Yeah, well, my buddies down the Keys, I didn't come up with that at all. The guys in the Keys, I learned it from Rob and my buddies down there. They all do that, and that's where Andy probably picked it up too with those guides down there. But that's
Keep it stretched.
yeah. So my problem is like the thing that Andy taught me via his little thing was that like I've always had to like manually straighten it. Like you pull off the reel and you're like using leather or whatever, you're warming it up and heating it. And that is a pain in the dick. But if you can just tie it between some trees for a couple days, come back and it's straight. Yeah, I'm all in.
no, I agree.
And then from there, maybe UV does a little something to it, but from there it goes into a dark tube and it never sees UV again.
I don't mean to be a party pooper.
No, I don't care. Yeah, I hear you. I just that's gonna be.
I trust Andy if he doesn't it works. I'm not gonna.
If you come to my house here in the next
would,
couple
yeah.
months, there's gonna be some fluorocarbon
would,
strung between trees in my backyard. Don't ask questions.
I
I'm
mean,
doing stuff.
what do you think if you walk up and somebody's got tarpon leader stretched between trees?
I
You're
think
like,
I want to talk.
it's like-
I think I'm in the right place.
Yeah, I think we're in the right place.
I think we're in the right place.
So what is your theory on? Okay, I remember being in the Fish Hawk, working back in the Fish Hawk with Gary back in Atlanta. Let's just call it 2008 or 9, if I had to guess correctly.
7.
And I remember him being so fixated on a little piece of red styrofoam, tying it on a size whatever hook with like worm. Like that's when everyone started fishing the worm.
Like a floating worm.
Yeah. Like
Floating
that's
worm.
when it became like the little worm stick.
Yeah.
And everyone started fishing that in tournaments. So at what point do you start going back to the cockroach? I mean, these fish that are swimming right now could be 50 years old. That means 20, 40 years ago they were seeing cockroach, big eye, lemmays, all that stuff. And then you got the young fish that are now 25 or 30 that haven't seen a cockroach their whole life. So at what point do you finally start throwing the old stuff from 40 years ago?
I mean, I've always thought that, like, if at any point in the life cycle of any of those fish they key in on that worm fly, wouldn't it work all the time?
Bro, those guys
That's why
that
it
fish
still
them.
does.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
That
talked to
would
like
work
Baker
all-
Bishop, those guys,
yeah.
and like, and they, of course, everybody fishes.
He'll throw it all the time.
They throw.
Yeah.
He called me one day. We were fishing. He was down there, and we were fishing the same area. And we had, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. So at the end of the day, we're calling, we're talking. I was like, yeah, we saw a fish. We did this. Somebody. He's like, yeah, I caught a. He goes, I didn't get you tarpon, David. I got a big permit. He was caught him on a worm fly.
Jeez.
Like permit comes swimming by the boat and he fed it a fucking worm.
Yeah.
Lindsay Nevins
So I mean,
did
like,
that.
yeah.
Lindsay Nevins
I
caught
think
like
those-
a 30.
I don't know that he always fishes the worm
Those-
now, but there was a time where those guys never took those things
Yeah.
off.
They
just
still
fished
don't.
them.
I don't
Yeah.
think. I really don't think they do. They've evolved. They've
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
Like 20 years, like not 20, 15. When I was talking about, it was like a floating foamy worm. It was the ugliest, stupidest looking thing in the world, but that's what
It would work.
Well, then you had like the one I fish. I can say the name without giving away what it looks like because I know some guys are probably still protective, but they call it the Trusty Rusty, and it was the next iteration of that. It was a different way of doing it, gave it a little more movement.
But I think the main evolved is the hook. The hook's evolved a lot.
So much smaller.
Well,
Yeah,
hell, dude, I remember seeing a permit chase a kudu tube one time.
yeah.
I'm sure.
So, like,
They're jacks. I mean, at heart, they're
Yeah.
fucking jacks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But yeah, I think the
Never
thing.
know.
But the other thing too, that just in that statement is that like even now today, whatever in my limited tarpon experience, where I'm fishing, like there are places like on the West Coast. Once you round the Cape, East Cape, and you go up, Cape Sable, and you keep going up in there that dark water.
Yeah.
They're still fishing giant EP flies and shit up there. Like those fish, they're not fishing worms at Big Sable or or up at Tarpon Creek, and then fishing kind of that middle ground when you're talking Oxfoot and
Oxford, yeah.
First National and all those big banks out there on that West Coast side of the bay where you get that milky kind of silty water. Black toads. I mean, big black nasty shit, and those fish eat almost every fucking time. If you know how to put it on them, they eat it.
First tarpon I
But
ever
as soon
caught
as you
was
get
on
into that
a
clean-
giant Puglisi.
But
black
as soon
and
as you
purple.
start getting into that clean water, that's when it starts getting like we need to be smaller and smaller.
Yeah,
smaller,
yeah,
smaller.
yeah.
And I think so. I don't think it's so much the fish. I think it's just the scenario. I think it's just so
And how
hard.
many flies have been thrown at that fish all day long?
And the thing about the cockroach is there's no effort being made there to hide the hook. Like, yes, I bet you could feed them a cockroach right now, but it'd need to be tied on a size 1. It would need to be like a mini cockroach.
Like basically, let's make this cockroach look like a worm.
Because I'll tell you right now, like the last few flies that I've had much success for on the ocean haven't been far off of a cock. I mean, they've been little feather flies, and we're talking little light, sparse, nothing. I mean, I could easily do one in a cockroach color scheme and call it a cockroach, and it'd be much smaller than the OG big 3-aught monsters. But like, that's what a lot of guys. If you're not fishing a worm, you're fishing a little feathery shit, and various color schemes, dark, light, whatever.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but the one thing I hate, no matter what I'm fishing for, I don't care if I'm on a trout stream, if I'm fishing for largemouth bass, if I'm fishing for tarpon. I hate it when you get in that cycle of changing the fly constantly.
No, I don't do it. I just
hate
can't.
that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, let's try this.
Because then you're just
Let's try
second
it.
guessing yourself for no fucking reason most of the
I've
time.
done it with you a million times.
I don't
Fishing for redfish, we
when
just
I'm
keep
trout
changing.
fishing, I kind of like it because
You want to figure it out.
the only time I like it is when I can visibly see that fish,
Yeah.
and I'm fishing for that fish, and I can see how he reacts.
And
to
you
the new
figure
fly.
it out.
like
Yeah.
spring creek fishing.
Yeah. That's
And you're fishing
tough.
in
Yeah.
1 foot of water at the most,
Right.
light bottom. I'm looking at that fish at 1 o'clock, and I can put a drift by him, and I can watch him react to that fly.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's
Because
Yeah, I agree.
if he
Now you're just playing a game.
Yeah.
and if that fly drifts by that fly and he kind of encounters it
Yeah.
and does this,
You're like, I was close.
no way.
I was
No,
close.
that's the wrong fly.
If he does this, you clearly need to change. Like,
Sure.
there's just what I was wondering too when you guys were talking about that. I wonder if the ethos of like conversation of fly fishing in trout comes down to what we just talked about: the micro changes of color, pattern, silhouettes. I think it's more of a silhouette thing with trout. I really do. I mean, it might be color, but I think it's more about a size. It all comes down to that, but in saltwater, I feel like it always comes down to tarpon.
But it always comes down to
Yeah,
presentation. Like,
I mean, but like the way you whittle down trout is down to this. And when you talk about saltwater, I feel like the conversation always comes down to
But
tricking
you know what?
tarpon.
yeah.
I'll
Well, because
also
I'm
say
like that redfish yesterday. I had a redfish blatantly refuse to fly, like that I was fishing.
Like he looked at
and it
went,
never
nah.
crossed my
Which
mind to
is
change
cool,
my
though.
fly. Yeah, which is cool, but it never changed. It never even crossed my mind to change that
Yeah,
fly because
exactly.
I'm like, nah, that fish didn't like it, but the other one over there might eat
But
the
with
shit
the
out of
tarpon,
it.
if the tarpon would have refused it, would you?
I would have changed it immediately. And but you know what that comes down to? I've caught thousands of redfish, and I've
Yeah.
got hundreds of those thousands, or maybe 1,000 of those thousands in the grass.
Yeah.
And I never thought about changing that fly because I know
The
that
next
they
fish
will
you
eat
eat,
that
yeah,
fly.
yeah, yeah.
If I had caught thousands of tarpon,
Mhm.
maybe I don't change my fly immediately. You know, like I think it comes down to your comfort with the fish you're fishing
Yeah.
and your knowledge
Yeah.
base and your history. Because, like I said, I've caught so many redfish. And I've had them refuse flies and then turn around and catch one right after that. And it's just one of those things where, like, I know they'll eat that fly. Like, the right fish will. And also, there's no pressure on me to catch a redfish. Like, I don't feel any kind of way about it. You know?
You have to admit, though, our community, the way we pursue fish, everything we do lends itself to overthinking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, from the boat to the rod to the
it starts with the fly
line,
shop. The fly shop's a
So,
big,
yeah, we just overthink everything.
It's multi-thousands of dollars
Yeah.
of overthinking.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much overthinking.
That
I mean,
fly bin could have 10 flies in it.
Oh, yeah.
I love
you can whittle that thing
when
down to
those
like
kids,
nothing.
when those kids came out in that one redfish tournament, they had like a John boat, like a PVC push pole, and they just whipped everybody's ass.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
That was so awesome because I was like, there you go. We
Yeah.
overthink everything.
Well, and I think that's part of the fun, though, is that,
Yeah,
you know,
is.
it is. There's a point to it, but like, yeah, I mean, we absolutely do.
I don't mean this to start. I'm just going to push pause on this. Okay.
But yeah, like the thing is, like I think it's a phase thing. You know, everybody talks about the stages of an angler, right? Where you just want to catch a fish, then you want to catch the most fish, then you want to catch the biggest fish, and then you want to whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's absolute truth to that, but I think the same phases kind of go through for like gear. Like there's a point where like you just fish with whatever you can because that's what you can fish with.
Mm.
Then you're like you want something a little better, and then you get into a point where you're thinking like the gear is going to make me better. Like I'm good, I'm doing all right, but if I just had that rod, or if I just had that boat, or if I just had that thing, and then at some point you get to a point where you're like, I'm either going to get it done with what I got, or it isn't going to get done, and then and you understand that, and I think at the end of the day, it always comes down to, with tarpon, especially trout too. I mean, actually no, trout are the same fucking presentation. Which presentation? Yes, sometimes comes down to the right leader setup, the right gear. Yeah,
Sure.
It can. There's an effect being had on that, but 99.999% of presentation is angler skill.
Yeah.
And that comes from experience, which comes from time, which is that's what I'm saying. Like it's not like nobody comes out of the gate being the perfect, well-seasoned angler, because even if you have the skill level that's way through the roof, let's say you just are a natural-born phenom at casting a fly rod, you still don't have the experience to read the fish and the water properly to be able to take that skill and put it to use. Yeah. So no matter how you cut it, you're going to have to be at a certain point of angling down the road before you get to be that guy.
Yeah.
And at that point, you've gone through all those phases. So is it the phases that gets you there? Or is it just the fact that, like, by the time you get there...
I've done it in trout. I'm not doing saltwater. Not even redfish.
No.
Like, I'm not out on the water enough here locally for me to say that I'm the king of redfish.
No.
I never
But
will
I mean,
be.
who's the king of redfish?
Yeah, who is?
Well,
yeah.
if you take 5 of my spots, let's just call it 5 of my favorite spots.
I just heard Harris Dudley yell over in the
In
distance.
my 5 favorite spots.
Yeah.
You tell me I've got at least a 6'2".
Yeah.
I'm going to go to one of those 5 spots, and I'm probably going to catch a couple.
Yeah.
But if you took away those 5 spots from me, I'd probably be like, oh, fuck. Like, you know, I could probably figure it out. But
you know what I like to do with
I got a lot more
trout?
5.
With trout.
I just don't have,
No, but I did it for a little. I've done it longer, and I did it.
I'm confident in my 5 or 6 spots.
But my problem is I never was the king of redfish, never going to be the king of redfish. But at one point, I was confident anywhere in town. He put me anywhere in there, and I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not at the level I used to be. Just because I haven't been on the water as much, and it makes me feel insecure. You know, like I second guess myself. But like yesterday, I went to a flat I haven't been to in years, and I was like, all right, I'm going to fish the Wando. I haven't been in the Wando in a while. It's like, I'm going to go check this little spot, and immediately was on fish. And I was like, oh, yeah, they still live here.
Well, that's
I haven't been here in
Still got it.
Went right. I mean, like drove right to him. Like, oh look, there's redfish.
That's the beauty of a flood tide too. Is you can get lucky.
Yeah.
You can call it lucky. You can get on fish quick.
Well, in a spot that holds
right
fish, trout don't really have much choice there in rivers, but like saltwater fish, generally speaking, barring large changes, hurricanes, whatever, development, et cetera, barring large changes, an area that is good for those game fish is always going to be good for those game fish for lots of reasons, current, food, whatever.
Yeah.
So anything that doesn't, unless something upsets one of those factors, food,
Heavily
current,
upsets
yeah.
And the same as trout river fish, river trout. You can
There's certain runs that are just going to be
you can
whole
tell,
fish.
you can look and see. That's the beauty of a river. Is there's so many different types of eddies and little bends, and you can tell quickly.
And saltwater's the same way once you know what you're looking at. But what you're looking at changes everywhere you are.
You
Like
got wind, tide.
and there's so many more factors than. But like I used to roll up when I was a guy, and I had trout spots or whatever, just for gear, even just gear fishing. And I would roll up on a spot and look at it, like nah, and put the hammer down and go to a different spot because you knew the way the wind was blowing or the level it was on the grass or whatever. Like it ain't there.
That water just didn't look right.
It's not right. It's not the way it needs to look for the fish to do what I want them to do. I'm going somewhere else. And it's, you get that way. It's just a lot of hours staring at the same fucking water.
I still say this: no matter what, I'll take a slow day fishing over a day not fishing.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Any
sure.
day.
Yeah.
It just turns into hang time. Like we could have done this whole show on the boat when the fishing slide.
I started to propose that. But then I was like, nah.
We can do that. I've got my little mobile.
But I knew you were excited to try out this whole camping thing, and I kind
I
of
love it.
Well, in 2 weeks we're gonna let's do cast and drafts.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
At the event at Free House Brewery. So if you're in Charleston, I think. I think it's the.
And y'all send us pictures. Send us pictures.
What would 2 weeks from today's date be? 12 or something
Today's the 30th.
add 14 days.
Yeah.
There's one more day in July, so the 13th.
It's a Tuesday night, I think.
Yeah.
Or it's a Wednesday night, whatever it is. We're doing awesome with.
So it'll be somewhere between the 12th and the 14th.
Here, let's pull up cast and drafts here.
Let's take a look at it.
Yeah. Cast and drafts. There it is. Okay. So
Okay.
August 14th.
Yeah. Put that on the.
So that's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
So
I need to put that on the screen.
oh, good point, dog.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or advertise for them. They're going to pay us later, right?
Yeah. No, this is a pro bono thing. We're gonna go get some interviews and let Michael sign a bunch of autographs.
Yeah, Wednesday the 14th. That's right.
All right, so that's the plan. Yeah, so I guess we got to hear from Richard.
Yeah, well, we're going to do... Are we going to do another segment, or we're just going to do Richard now?
Richard now, and then we're going to end with another
Okay.
podcast promo that is coming out.
Well, I saw Richard over there talking to those pizza guys, probably trying to con him into getting free pies. So maybe let's see if I can...
I wish I just had a picture of Richard Queso that we could put out here. So I just type in Richard Queso.
Yeah, oh my God, you know somebody's out there is... I mean, I know Richard doesn't have Instagram, that's for sure.
Let's just look up someone. Oh, okay.
Nope, that ain't gonna be it. I don't think they're related.
Southern culture on the fly. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Kirby! Go Dogs!
Kirby, that's Kirby Queso, yeah. That might be Richard. Richard play it, Georgia?
Kirby Queso. I got the visor.
You might have.
They sent me that.
Did Richard
We'll
play?
just make it that.
All right, well, let me go.
Mail sack, that's
Go
our
Dogs.
inside. Mail sack, why is there hair in this mail sack? Mail sack.
Well, hello there, Belly Life fans. It's your man, Richard.
Hey, Richard, what's up, buddy?
You messed up my intro, Paul.
Sorry.
You said you didn't hear I had vibrato and everything. I was letting it roll.
Sorry, buddy.
Hey, you guys had any of that pizza over there? You guys with the pizza oven? You see
No,
that?
I did. Yeah, did you have some?
Oh, it's so good. But they didn't actually give me any, but I snuck a slice off somebody's.
Was it good?
It was delicious. They had some hippy dippy thing over there with like
man.
sweet and sour pork and all that, you know.
That's awesome.
Me personally, I just like a little possum grease and some cheese, but you know, hey, not everybody's into that. You know, I get it. I'm trying to make a living.
Well, how you been, bud?
You know, I've been all right. It's been a little bit hot.
sticky, lots of rain. I know that California's on fire, but Charleston's underwater. It's been kind of wet lately. It's a little sticky out there. Mosquitoes is bad.
It's humid.
It's humid, yeah. And I don't know if any of y'all have ever slept in a camper full of coons when it's wet outside, but it's not nice.
I have once.
Yeah, I do it every night. Every night, Doug. Every night.
Yeah.
So what's been going on in here? It's nice and cool in here. I see you got the Samsung up there on the wall, and this is nice and cool.
Well, you like all our cameras and everything?
Yeah, I seen the makeup light up there. Is that one of them things like my mama used to have one for putting her eyeliner on? What is that? Is that just to keep the lighting on Mike's greasy forehead? Is that?
You tell us. What is it?
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have to like go on a record or something. Do I have to swear on a Bible before I sit here? I'm not really sure what's happening.
I'm trying to.
What is it? The lawyers all do.
Get a picture.
What do the lawyers all do? Is it a disposition or a deposition or one of them things?
It's a deposition.
Yeah. I've been through one of them before.
I'm trying to get
I bet you
I
have.
lost my house and my dog last time I did this.
I'm trying to get a picture of you up on the screen here.
Oh, good luck. I have erased myself from the system.
Well,
I'm invisible.
it ain't
I'm
gonna-
like Jason Bourne. Only I'm not as
It ain't gonna
agile and I
work.
don't have any guns that the government knows about.
Well, so how have you been, bud?
Yeah.
I mean, other than sleeping in the sweaty coon, RV, it's been all right. And,
Yeah.
it's summertime in the South, and, it's hot. And
Have you
the
been
fish
getting
is
out,
slow.
kind of hitting the town at all?
No, not so much. I've been getting out, the camper to catch more coons, but that's about it. The coon compound business is drying up.
No, I'll tell you
I
one.
really need these ads to start ticking up a little bit here on the show.
I got something to tell you. You're probably not gonna be happy with me.
I'm never happy with you, Paul, but by all means.
We've got a little some sort of pest going on our roof, and the guy came by yesterday because I'm pretty sure you got a possum in your attic, and he's coming by to trap it on Thursday.
Thursday?
You want me to give it to you?
Yeah, I got. You know what? I'll have him out of here tonight. I
Are
am
you
low.
from the house tonight?
Yes, I'm in. Mind if I park my camper out back and run a drop cord or something? It'd only be a day or
What's
two.
a drop cord? What does that mean?
Drop cord, the power cord to your house. The power.
Oh, you're gonna play in my house?
Hey, look, man, I'm trying to help you. Help me help you. Okay, you
let's
want
do
that
it.
possum
That's a
job?
deal. That's a good.
I won't charge you nothing. Just let me park the camper back here for a month or two, and we'll call it even.
A month.
Hey, it's negotiable. It's negotiable. All right. If the smell gets too bad, we can talk about it. It's fine.
Well, I've got a mail sack question.
Yeah, oh, you do? Somebody brought it into the mail.
Let me get the sack here. Okay. This one's from Jacob Skelton.
Hi, Jake.
Have you ever gone tarpon fishing, and would you ever think about maybe actually just throwing an actual worm on a hook, a tarpon hook, and seeing what might happen?
Well, Jake, actually, you don't know this about me, but I spent quite a bit of time down in old South Florida. Spent some time fishing with them tarpons. No, I wouldn't be fishing no worms now. That being said, I am not against live baiting or dead baiting for a tarpon. I have been known to send a mullet to his demise once or twice along the bridges of the Bahio Honda. So I'm not above it. But it's just, the worm is not enough to entice tarpon. Not to mention, have you ever been in tarpon world? It's all the jacks and the pinfish and the snappers and all the...
Have you ever met Mr. Bahio?
One time I saw a guy that looked like he might have been named Bahio, but I never talked to him. And so I know, but I fished this bridge a whole lot.
It's a good bridge.
It's a good bridge, and there's a lot of tarpon down there.
Doug, you got any mail
Yeah,
sacks?
no, I do. I've got one here. This is from a Miss Susie Greenberg
Hi, Susie.
from Vermont.
Oh.
She's a
And
Yankee.
she
That's
is
okay.
Saying, okay, let me make sure I get this right. Dear Mr. Queso,
Hi.
In all your infinite wisdom, could you please impart on me the very best type of footwear for fishing?
Yeah. So, as a younger queso, as like a less mature cheese, I would have told you that barefoot is the only way a person should ever be on a boat. Right? You get better grip. You're warm with the fiberglass. And all those things. But as an older queso, and the little more stinkier cheese, a little bit of a monster of a queso. You gotta have the arch support. So what you looking for is a wide toe box and a high arch with good cushioning in there. Me personally, when I'm shopping at the West Marine, I like the ones with the razor cut bottoms and the non-marking soles because scrubbing the deck's a bitch. But yeah,
these Gronins quesos got a redfish on them.
Oh, I like those. I like those.
Isn't that fancy?
Yeah, that's real fancy.
That was familiar.
So I recommend that you wear something good for your feet if you're gonna be on a hard fiberglass deck all day. Younger queso was a barefoot man, but old queso, stinky cheese, he likes his feet nice and protected.
I got a question.
Yep.
This question.
That's what I'm here for, Paul, to answer questions.
From Brooks to Bose. In what situation with your friends fishing on a big T-top, kind of big center console boat out in the middle of the ocean, can you break out into your banana hammock?
Well, there's a couple questions there, really, if you want to break it down. First is, who owns the boat? Because if the answer to that question is you bust that thing out whenever the fuck you feel like it because they're on your boat.
Okay.
They're going to come fishing with you. They get to see all of you. So, that's up to them.
Yeah.
If it's not your boat, then the question is, how do you know the guy that owns the boat? Has he seen you in a banana hammock?
Okay.
Has he commented on the likelihood of you ever wearing it again?
Yeah.
There's some
Just even though you have one.
Yeah, just because you have one don't mean you can just whip it out whenever you want. Like I said, if you own the boat, then there's no question to be had here. The question is, who wants to go fishing with a guy in the banana hammock because I'm going to have one on. But, outside of that, it's just, do you want to get invited back?
Now,
or do you want to get invited to something that you're not so comfortable being involved in?
Now, you used to know Jose Wahebe, right?
Oh, rest in peace, Jose. And
you guys were buddies. Now, he was known as wearing the old hammock thing out back in the day.
You know what, though? A guy like Jose, he had reached a point where anytime he stepped on a boat, it was Jose's boat. Yeah. You get to a point I don't know, Flip Pallet, if he had a banana hammock, it'd be made out of squirrel skins or something weird, it'd be a little odd, but it's kind of the same thing. Possum hammock. But the thing is, if a guy like Flip got on your boat and all of a sudden was in a possum hammock, you'd be like, I still got Flip Pallet on the boat. You do let it go. So I think maybe Jose was long enough. I'm being played off the stage.
Mail sack. That's all I'm going.
See you, Kate. See you tonight, out of my place. Awesome.
Yep. I'll only be there 6 months. I swear to God, Paul.
I was about to ask about the plantain hammock.
Sorry.
The plantain. I'm more of a plantain
hammock. I don't know about all that banana shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You rock out, man.
All right, well, let's end this thing.
That was fun.
All right, so next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Is it 2 weeks from tomorrow?
Next Wednesday, guys.
It's 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks from
2
tomorrow.
weeks from tomorrow at Freehouse Brewery.
That gives y'all time to send in pictures.
Yes. Oh, there's that camera.
Send in
Let's go
pictures.
War room look.
There we go.
We're in here making drafts and making trades.
And remember, don't just send in a picture. We need some background info.
Yeah. Okay.
We need some names.
So let's just send it to my email.
Okay. Which is?
Paul@paulpuckettart.com.
That's easy. Paul at
And then from there,
paulpuckettart.com.
if you want to send in a picture and you want us to say it,
Yeah.
I'll send you the Venmo right then and there. And if you just want to send us Venmo, we probably need to set up a Barely Live Venmo.
Love it.
But for now, we'll do Paul-Puckett-2.
Yep.
And I'll tell you all about half of them. The other half I'll just keep. So if we get $100, I'll just tell you all about it.
Paul likes fancy beer.
No, so Paul-Puckett-2 and Paul at paulpuckettart.com. And for now, we'll set up a Barely Live Venmo. For the next one. Because we'll do a whole segment of bashing your friends.
Oh, we'd love to make him famous.
Or videos. We're happy to take videos.
We'll make him famous.
Yeah.
Keep them under like 20 seconds. So
Like, video would be pretty fun. Like, so play by play on what they're doing wrong. Yeah, don't send us anything weird. Like, just fishing related. That'd be
Yeah. Keep it civil.
Yeah, no female nipples or anything.
Yeah.
Or actually, you know what? Male nipples, depending on how you're using them, you probably just keep those in there too.
To yourself. Keep your nipples to yourself.
I'll tell you what,
Just keep your nipples to yourself.
we're not going to say no, just DM Paul. We'll send you another private email.
We can be the gatekeepers. We can be the gatekeepers. Send us what you want.
I think we might be opening up.
And make sure it's someone you know. Like, don't send some picture you found on the internet that we end up getting in trouble for.
We're not interested in that.
Please don't.
So, yeah.
I don't want to be going down the road on a unicycle crying. It's all the time.
All right.
All right, we got one more of these podcasts to go.
All right.
It's a beautiful morning. The mountains are coming alive. The sun is rising. Hangover. You can hear the river from the pool out top. As you get down to the place where you normally start and work your way upstream, you see somebody's already there. They're already fishing that opening hole. Now, you could go behind them, but fish with the ever-present knowledge that somebody's already been there all day. Or you could walk a few miles upstream, maybe to the next turnout before you start your day. But that second run is pretty sweet. And after all, as we discuss in this podcast from NPR Radio, nobody owns the river. Join us for discussion about high-holing. It's my weekend. This river's mine.